Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young. This.
Good Saturday morning to all of you out there. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk, brought to you each and every week by the folks at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and the videos every week. They're also available on virginiapreps.com, streaming there, archived as well. You can watch past episodes. And we're on Twitter or X at 757 Sports Talk. We experimented on our Friday on the Hash with Hatfield finale for 2023 as far as the season and state championship run with Instagram Live. We'll be doing more of that. And, of course, on Facebook, too, you see the coach, Ed Young, with his bobblehead, victorious on Friday night. I am Matt Hatfield. What are you now, 4-1 on the year after beating Deep Creek? Nice finish for you in that ballgame. I actually happened to pop on it as I was at an establishment that will hopefully be sponsoring the show soon after leaving the game in Chesapeake in the Southeastern District. We'll have some sound from that coming up. But you got to be feeling rather chipper this morning, 8 days away from Christmas, and you still haven't bought me anything yet, have you?
No, good morning, and that buying you something ain't going to happen. So I'm letting you know now. You could go buy something, wrap it up, and put my name on it, so you'll feel like I got you something. That probably would be the best thing that's going to happen.
I'm not liking that at all. We're supposed to be joined here in just a couple minutes by a special guest. He's the head football coach of the 3 times in a row now state champion Phoebus Phantoms. That's Jeremy Blunt. His team won a thriller last weekend in Lynchburg at Liberty University, beating Salem 21-14 on a wild play at the end, an 86-yard touchdown pass by a freshman quarterback by the name of Maurikus Banks to senior wide receiver Keyontae Gray. So we'll be talking with him. I think they had their canned food drive today, doing some great things over there at Phoebus High School, as they were one of 6 state champions last weekend across the state. Over at Liberty University in Lynchburg, they were crowned state champs, as were the Liberty Christian Bulldogs under Coach Frank Rocco at UVA in Charlottesville. It was 2 teams coming up just short with 34 points each in Highland Springs and Stonebridge, as the likes of Freedom-Woodbridge and Maury out of Norfolk captured undefeated seasons. You can watch those interviews we've got on the Hash with Hatfield with both Daryl Overton of Freedom and Doree McCain. Extensive interviews with them up on our YouTube channel. They'll also be on virginiapreps.com for folks that want to check it out. And out in Salem, Class 1 and Class 2, Radford knocked off Riverheads, which had won 7 state titles in a row, while it was Galax beating Essex without a touchdown at 7-6, a field goal and 2 safeties. So the final tally is all you need to know. Hatfield 6-0 in championship round games. Coach Young 3-3. Stick to the pros, sir. Stick to the pros.
Yeah, I went on the limb, and the limb broke, and wow, I made boo-boos in my picks. So I have to give it to you that you win. And I think we had a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Oops, we had a sandwich from a certain restaurant on the line, and I guess I'll have to come through with that.
I'll believe it when I see it, because you generally don't come through with things that you're supposed to come through with. So, anywho,
this one I will.
No, I don't believe you. I think you're just lying through your teeth.
Well, most people when they lie, it has to be through their teeth. I mean, that's the words start behind there. So, but no, I'm going to come through, because one thing I will not say I am or want to be is a liar, and I detest liars. So I have to come through in that. I lost the Riverheads game. I lost. Who else did I lose?
You lost Riverheads, you lost Essex, Galax, and you also lost Highland Springs Freedom, because you went out on a limb. And by the way, they were roaring back, trying to make a comeback, as was Stonebridge, but both of those comebacks fell short. In fact, Salem was coming back against Phoebus. They tied it up at 14-all thanks to a touchdown late in that ball game, but it wasn't late enough, because Phoebus got the last laugh and the touchdown that mattered when it was all said and done. But that wasn't even the worst loss you had of the weekend. I mean, you lost those 3 championship games, Class 1, Class 2, Class 6. The worst loss you suffered last weekend was getting beat by Mike Hatfield in Fact or Fiction. For those that missed it, you can go back and watch it on last week's show, as DJ had himself, the proud JMU alum from the class of 77, was victorious on a Saturday in which his Dukes also prevailed over Old Dominion on the hardwood and men's college hoops. And they're still unbeaten, and they're still a top 20 outfit in the country. So he's hoping to go dancing with them this year.
Yeah, and I think Mike will do well with the dancing. DJ Hat got me, and again, I got no excuses. You lose, you lose. I mean, he's more privy to the answers than I am because
no, he wasn't. He was trying to cheat like you.
His son loves him dearly, and he wants to see Pops get well. So you don't get another beating and whooping like you've had many in your younger days, and they were gratefully needed.
Okay. Well, a lot to go over on this particular show. In fact, before we hopefully hear from Jeremy Blunt here shortly, we will have some more things to go over. By the way, our man Nick is chiming in watching the show. ODU Western Kentucky. Who y'all got? Good question, Nick. Bowl game Monday. Who you got in the bowl game, Ed?
Let me say this first about bowl games. I was doing some reading.
Don't hate or poo-poo on the bowl games. Don't be that guy.
400, if I get the number correct, 411 players in all of the bowl teams.
Is that true?
That's what I'm trying. I read it on one of the sites because I was asked to partake in a college football bowl extravaganza. And I said, well, let me do some research a little bit because I heard there's a lot of players have gone into the portal. And the website I went to, I thought it said 411 players from the bowl teams. Now, remember, there's 42.
Something like that.
Something
By
like
the way, that's the famous Toastery Bowl for those that want to check it out in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be on ESPN Worldwide Leader Television, 2:30 kickoff on Monday, where they're expecting some rain potentially at Jerry Ricketson Stadium coming up on Monday for that one. Monarchs by 3.5. I got ODU winning at 24-21, but they won't cover. There you go. I'm hedging myself.
Yeah, and the reason I'm going Old Dominion is the quarterback for West Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the ones that went into the portal.
Talking about Mr. Reed?
Yeah,
Mr. Austin Reed.
I think he's the one.
Okay.
And it's surprising how many starters, especially quarterbacks from teams that got into bowls, are leaving and they went into the portal already. You can't wait, until the bowl's over.
Yeah.
I'm just the portal keeps mystifying me daily. I can't believe how it's going.
Yeah.
Ohio State lost 13 players. Ohio State. I don't get it.
Well, listen, they don't want to be Buckeyes anymore. Maybe they want to be Wolverines. They want to get ready for the college football playoff.
I don't, like I said, those teams haven't lost it. But what I'm going to say, though, is I think the bowls have run their course. When you have numerous bowl games with a 5-7 team against a 6-6 team, I mean, yeah, you got one more game to play. You got to play your younger players. Whatever. You go on a little vacation. The alumni love it. The alumni think you're number one. I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, can we take the bowls and take 6 or 7 bowls? I know next year we're going to 12 teams, so that's 6 games. Am I right? You'd have to have no more than 6 games to get the title. So you're going to have to use some other bowls along the way to get to your championship. Maybe that's what we need to do with the bowls is go with 24 teams and all the bowls would be related to matchups to college championship. So
you're not in any contest for bowls?
Yeah, I got in one. I did. I did my picks.
See, I was in one. I was in one last year. I won one of those, ESPN picker contests with my good buddies Joe Deck and Leland McCrae. I give them a shout out. We'll go check out their Yak Sports podcast. But as much as I love Joe and Leland, they're terrific guys. Enjoy coming on their show. And I'll actually see Joe coming up on Sunday. He does the ESPN Plus call for VCU women's basketball. I worked with Joe, as did you, I think, years ago, NFHS Network on some state basketball championships. But he does the play-by-play for VCU women. As much as I love them, I'm disappointed because I didn't even get a championship belt. I got no prize. I got no free cookies, no free food, no free cash. I didn't get anything, not even a WWE championship belt that I could hit you over the head with. So I didn't get back in it this year. I'm boycotting until I get my prize that I justly deserve. Just like I won 2 fantasy football championships, got nothing. And by the way, Nick, who you saw on the screen, he's kicking my tail as is everybody in the fantasy football league that we were teaming up in last place thanks to you with the quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett, who stinks. And of course, we were doomed from day one when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. And it's so miserable. I'm like in the last place consolation game.
I have completely rid my mind of that.
You're never drafting for me again. Never. I'll go dig up somebody from the ground before I let you draft.
Well, first of all, the guys I drafted all were hurt or whatever.
No, not all of them.
Paper, which is
I think 3 of them got cut.
No, none of them got cut. We got to look that up. We got to look that
okay.
up.
Nick can do the archive digging to see the original draft and see how bad the guys you were. We'll put up on the screen, let the audience weigh in on how terrible your selections were.
And make sure we put Hatfield's picks too, because I mean, I think you were drinking some hard lemonade when you picked Major.
No, listen, it's a keeper league, and you have to keep Aaron Rodgers, and he goes down right up there. First series of the game, we were cooked from then. Cooked.
Well, I don't know why you pick an old man at quarterback. That was the problem, and he's going to get hurt. So you picked an old man. I picked a young buck
about the old man coaching the basketball team from the sideline.
I picked a young buck who was going to, who by the experts said he's going to be a good one. He'll be all right. And he wasn't. He had a bad year, and he may not be. He may not be what the Steelers need. So, topsy-turvy year in football.
Yeah, very, very much a topsy-turvy year. Anyhow, it is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page with the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. And you can join the conversation, interact with us. We're also, again, streaming on Facebook, on Twitter, X at 757 Sports Talk. So we always want to hear from you out there in internet land across the way. Quick thoughts before we hopefully hear from Jeremy Blunt. We have sent him a note. We're waiting to connect with him. I know they got the he's actually just texted me now. That's cool. He said about 20 minutes. So we'll actually have him on 20 minutes. They're actually setting up their canned food drive. So we'll give him plenty of time. We got a couple hours today. Your thoughts on the championship games before we go to break here, Ed. The other games we had, we're actually going to flash the scores back on the ticker here. Freedom-Woodbridge over Highland Springs, 42-34. Maury won by 11 over Stonebridge. That I said this last night on the Hash with Hatfield podcast that I felt like even though the teams lost, and you hate to say second place finishers, that, honestly, I think these teams had good seasons. And, you say that all the time, but usually we have a blowout. There was not a real look at the scores. There's not one game where somebody got destroyed or, totally romped. Biggest margin was 18, Radford Riverheads, and Riverheads was in that game. Lafayette, Liberty Christian, they were in that game. I felt like even the runner-ups had solid showings. They just got beat by better teams, I think, in most cases. You'd probably argue the Essex Galax because of 4-loss. Galax beat an undefeated Essex, and they won on a field goal hitting the crossbar and bouncing through the upright to win them the ball game. Have you seen the video of that, by the way?
No, I'm not. I didn't know.
Would you like to see it?
We could have that. I'd like to see it. I mean, it's just going to bring up Essex frustrations.
Well, I'll let you see it real quick, and you can comment. Go ahead. Here we go. Here's from our man Robert Anderson at VirginiaPreps.com. Check it out. We've got the video of the Phoebus play people want to see. We'll wait for Jeremy Blunt to come on, but here you go. Here's the kick from Mr. Vera. So there it was, Ed. Essex falling to Galax. Very difficult for them to swallow. They had a good year again, 14-1. Nothing to hang their heads about, but that ended up doing them in. That field goal, 7-6. They had a couple of safeties in the second half, but that 42-yarder from Yandel Vera getting the job done. Maybe you can go kick for your Raiders. Although right now, speaking of we'll get to your Raiders a little bit later on the show. I do want to play the little clip I got from that game.
I don't want to say not yet,
but maybe you can pick for an NFL team getting that to go through because there's some NFL kickers that are a little dicey. Although I tell you what, Mr. Aubrey for the Cowboys, woo, he's at the front of the line right now. The way he's kicking it from distance, he's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't want to say nothing about the Raiders until we get to the picks and whatever, and we'll go from there. But excuse me, getting back to the state championships. Yeah, I lost 3 of my picks because I really believe those teams can win. The only game I felt, in all honesty, that it was a done deal was Phoebus over Salem. And that was a close game. And as all the games were, but like you said, the Riverheads game, Riverheads lost, they were down 18, even though we were making a run to try to get to that lead. And I've always said this too: when you lose in a state championship game, you had a great year. You got to where nobody else did, but the team that beat you. So you can't look at it and say, and we do this a lot in sports. We don't want to remember the runner-up. We don't want to mention the runner-up. It's like death that they lost. Buffalo Bills have lost that going back years ago when the Bills lost. I don't know if it was 4 straight Super Bowls or 4 Super Bowls in a 10-year span or something. And we laughed at them. They were pitiful. It was unbelievable. And I remember I made that statement that I'd rather be guaranteed to go to Super Bowl every year and lose than to win 1 Super Bowl in my lifetime. And people keep saying to me, that's one of the stupidest comments I ever heard, especially from a coach. My point is, if I'm in the Super Bowl every year, I got to have a pretty good team. We're in it every year. Now, we couldn't find a way to win it, but we were there. And where was the other, 30 teams in the NFL? Where were they at? So, yes, we want to win championships. And it seems like sports is based on if you don't win a championship, you're garbage. And I just think that's a ridiculous way to look at athletics, especially the high school level. It's if you can have a good yearly good program that you're contending for your title, let alone a state title, a district regional title every year. That's a pretty good program. Not a whole lot of people can say that. So those teams that lose, you got there. Yes, you want to win, and hopefully you will come back, and hopefully you will be able to win, because being fortunate in my lifetime to win at least 1 state title, it's a feeling it's hard to describe. You have to do it. You have to feel it. And it's really what you work for. All those practices, all that, especially football, you start in August, end of July, all that heat, you're out there playing, is to win that big one come December. So I don't like saying that, they're losers, they can't win the big one and whatever. I just think that comes from more shallow type people in the business.
I don't think Buffalo Bills fans agree with you. We'd rather get there every year than not win one. I don't think they agree with you. Probably the Minnesota Vikings fans, which our man Nick is one of. I don't think he probably agrees with you. And I'm sure other teams that haven't won one probably feel similarly about that. So, yeah, I'm not so sure I'm with you on that one, sir. As we're also going to flash across the screen here, the ticker of the state champions from our area, Phoebus and Maury, 15-0, wall-to-wall, pillar-to-pillar, best teams. People have already started the conversations, Ed, who wins the 757 Super Bowl if we had Maury play Phoebus. They did have a scrimmage, and Maury took that one, but you have the awesome Phoebus defense, the incredible Maury offense. Not that the Phoebus offense is shabby or that the Maury defense isn't elite, because both of those units have stepped up in precious times. And also people have talked about it coming out of UVA, which I forecasted going in. We had Larry Rabama on the show last week. We talked about it on both On the Hash with Hatfield and this 757 Sports Talk program here on a Saturday, that I think the takeaway would be we want to see a Freedom-Maury matchup. Maybe we'll get that in the future. And we did play it on our podcast. People can go back and check it out. And I actually talked off air with Drew McCain about it. But Daryl Overton said he'd be all for, and this is something that's probably in the works, as I'm hoping our guys like Nick and Chuck Thornton and the folks at Cova Sports, Hometown Sports Productions are watching. We're talking about maybe doing a possible jamboree type of situation, like a scrimmage, do something, and then put a little charitable element towards it that could go not only to some of the programs, but something to just a good cause out there. Have some of the kids come together. If it's not a scrimmage type of football off-season type of jamboree thing in July, almost like a team camp quasi-media day type of thing, it'd be pretty cool to do it. And I think the Sportsplex would be an awesome venue for something like that. Get your state champions and then bring up like 15, 20 of the top teams around the state, similar to what we do with the Virginia Preps Basketball Classic, which is coming your way next month at Green Run High School. We'll have more details about those games and all the matchups, and maybe you can go out there and meet Ed Young and get his autograph and see Vinny as well. But your take on that? I think people want to know who would win the Maury Freedom game. They're not going to play each other next season because the schedule's already set. They both have good schedules, but this could be a little whet the appetite, next best thing possibly, right?
Yeah, scrimmage situation, though a lot of people say it's not the same thing. You're not getting a full game effect, all the bells and whistles to that. But it's the next best thing. I like that charitable element. Sometimes you can't agree on where to play unless you say, well, we'll come to you one year, you come to us the next, which is usually how it's done. So therefore you would go to a neutral site, and the Sportsplex would be tremendous in hosting that. But yeah, I think a jamboree like that with maybe all the state champions in there, play everybody like a quarter. I don't know exactly how they would do it in football, but I know how it's done in basketball for your scrimmages situations. Again, and you made the phrase "whet the appetite" at least a little bit, give people a feel of what they would do against each other. It would be pretty neat. And it is a situation where most football schedules are set a year or two ahead of time. I'm not quite sure why they do that. Basketball,
well, it's a 2-year cycle. They have 2 years that's locked in for your district games when they're slated and you're out of district. And of course, in the case of Maury in the Eastern District, they have 3 out of district games. Did you see they played early in the year? Wise, Highland Springs, and Dinwiddie, and beat all of them. Phoebus had 2 this year. They had the one with Oscar Smith to start the year. Actually, that might have been their only one. I thought I had them with 2, but that might have been their only one that they had. As I check my PDF files, babbling here, that's actually the only one they had. So they had 1 as opposed to 2. So I misspoke there. But 3 for Maury. The Eastern District teams, you have 8 teams in the league, so you get 7 out of district. The Peninsula, you have 10 teams, you get 1 out of district, and you have 9 games you play. The ones that really I think it hurts them for postseason, I've talked about, is I wish the folks in the beach would let the beach schools get 1 out of district game, because I think it's hurt some of their teams in regional competition to an extent. And to further back that point up, now they can say the last couple of years it hasn't, and when teams like Lancetown and Ocean Lakes won state championships, it didn't. But there was no region champs from the beach this year. And that, to me, would be the signal, whereas you had them in every other district, the Eastern, the Southeastern, the Peninsula, the Bay Rivers. And, again, the beach is pretty much almost the entire Region 5A, where you have literally in that region 10 of the 14 schools. So it's not from a lack of options, if you will.
Yeah, again, high school scheduling very different than college and pro. They still play their district schedules, even though district doesn't mean much. So we had all this discussion a few years back when we went from single A, double A, triple A to the 6 regional type play levels, and then it was, should we keep playing district, or should we go to a more regional schedule? We went to a more regional schedule, and we didn't let that set in for years. The traditionalists hated it and clamored to go back all the way to single A, double A, triple A, which I was not a proponent for, only because football didn't do it. So why should the other sports, especially IE basketball? So again, we would get back into that scheduling idea is why we can't do it, but they're locked. You made a good point, Matt, about, well, the beach, they play each other. So that's 9 games, leaving only 1 game outside the district to play. And again, I'm the type of person that says, well, when you go back to a true league or district champion, you play everybody at least once in football. And in basketball, you would probably play them twice. Now, in basketball in the Southeastern District, we don't play everybody twice. We play our group being Deep Creek, us, Deep Creek, Western Branch, Lakeland, Kings Fork. Those schools play each other twice. We play the other schools, Indian River, Grassfield, Great Bridge, Oscar Smith, Hickory, once. And I can live with that kind of a schedule, because in our district, we have region 3, 4, 5, and 6 teams. So there's no district tournament. District doesn't mean anything. You're playing for regional. So again, I guess I say all that to say it can be worked out. Not sure it ever will be. So those people that want to see, these state champions every year play each other the following year with the idea of who was truly the best, not sure that can really happen.
All right, we're going to take a time out here on this edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We actually have the draft picture. We'll give that to you when we come back. We also got some interviews with both Dave Macedo, head men's basketball coach at Virginia Wesleyan. Got a big win on Thursday night over in Newport News at the Freeman Center over the captains of Christopher Newport University. CNU, the reigning Division III national champs, but Wesleyan knocked them off. And I think Macedo's Marlins are now 10-1, or I should say Macedo's Marlins are now 10-1 on the year. We'll also hear from Erik Johnson of Grassfield, one of your Southeastern District counterparts. They got themselves a nice win holding on against Thomas Dale on Friday night there in Chesapeake before a nice crowd and turnout for that ball game. NFL picks for week number 15 as Ed will gloat and brag about how he is whooping my tail. And I'm only a game up on Bruce Pearl, Mr. Virginia Beach Mustangs himself. Now, you weren't 3-0. You were 2-1 last week. But you're about as scorching as Cade Morrison, which maybe we'll throw that clip up there as well. We've also got some other sound bites and chance for you to hop in with us. You got any questions, comments, interact with us here. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Time now to hear from some of our sponsors that make it all possible for us and all of you from the PLEX. Stay tuned.
Revitalize your property today. Shine Time is your turnkey solution for all power washing and painting projects. With years of experience in both residential and large-scale commercial settings, their focus is to bring new life to your home, building, or outdoor space and ensure 100% customer satisfaction every time. Shine Time Power Wash.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
The DQ Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy tastes good.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our Virginia Beach Sportsplex YouTube channel. There's the draft board. You see Mad Hatters up there with Breeze Knees and LT Dan. We had Rogers, Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, who's been dinged up, Gabe Davis from the Bills, who can't catch it when we need him to. Thanks a lot, Gabe. You cost us the Eagles game, and you cost us some points. T. Higgins, Jerry Judy, Kenny Pickett, Ed, and Red. Oh, my gosh. Well, I mean, at least you didn't go Bryce Young with someone else, or Sam. Well, we did go Sam Darnold. Oh, my gosh. We could have had Brock Purdy. Look at that. Brock Purdy was picked 2 rounds later. Why didn't you take Purdy? He's
no,
Brock
good. Purdy was not on the board when I picked.
Yes, look at that.
No, he was not on the board.
Yes, it is. It's 2 rounds later. Look.
No, even an idiot would pick Purdy over Sam Darnold.
7th round, you could have taken him. He went to the 9th round. Shame on you. He's going to be NFL MVP.
Purdy was not available. Trust me, he was not available.
Look at it. What do you mean he's not available?
I'm just saying he wasn't available. There's no way I'm picking Sam Darnold over Brock Purdy.
No. I didn't say Sam Darnold. Darnold was later. You took Kenny Pickett over Brock Purdy. Shame.
No, I would take Purdy over Pickett. He's not available.
You did. Look, it's right there. What do you mean you would have? Now you would have, but you didn't then.
No, they did some finagling there because there's no way.
That's the draft board.
I'm not taking Pickett over Purdy. That's not happening.
Well, now you aren't, but you did then.
No, I wouldn't. Even then, I wouldn't do it. Purdy was proven.
No, it's right there. You think they made up these stickers just to laugh at you?
That's a possibility.
No, I would do it, but they didn't do that. No.
Who was? I was trying to look at some of them other names.
You want to go back to it real quick? Here we go. There you go. It's back there. Go ahead.
Okay, let me see. Who is it? That was our kicker, Butker. Is that Butker?
Yeah, Harrison Butker. We should have got Aubrey too. Nice job by you.
Harrison Butker. Okay.
Unbelievable. We could have gone live and let the audience help us and get better picks than you had us. You gave us the. Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, Jeff Wilson, Hunter Renfro. I mean, come on, really?
Oh, that last pick there was. I think it was so bad you were on the board. I didn't want to take you over Hunter Renfro.
Oh, I mean, I could have given us more points than some of these bozos.
Yeah, that Sam Darnold pick is not a cool one either.
No, not good. Hey, all right, we got some basketball still. Who do you want to hear Who do you want to hear from first? Would you want to hear from the head Mullen, Dave Macedo, Mr. Erik Johnson of Grassfield? Who do you want to hear from first as we go to some basketball still? And as the hoops, we'll be going through some scores on a regular basis, sort of similarly to what we did with football as we move it into January. It might not be the same exact style and recap style, but where do you want to go to as we wait for Jeremy Blunt? They're getting their canned food drive off the ground and running over there at Phoebus High School. Which one do you want to start with?
Which one is shorter?
Well, Dave Macedo is 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Erik Johnson, 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Let's go with EJ.
Let's go with Erik Johnson of the Grassfield Grizzlies. Got themselves a win Friday night over Thomas Dale. He's a big-time wrestling fan like Ed, so maybe when we get Erik on the show live, they can talk wrestling for a half hour. I can go get a soda and go. I don't drink sodas anymore. Go take a dip in the pool is what I might do.
Yeah,
but
that would be good. And EJ and I are trying to find in our schedules to go to a local professional wrestling match, an independent.
We'll mic y'all up and let y'all go live on the little stream or something. How about that?
Yeah,
y'all give us color commentary of the match for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, we got to try to do that. We got to.
Right. Here is Erik Johnson after their win last night over the Thomas Dale Knights. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Hatfield and Young at the PLEX. I am here with Grassfield head basketball coach Erik Johnson. His Grizzlies win a hard-fought game, 58-56 over Region 6A foe Thomas Dale from Richmond. Coach, got to feel good to get this win. I know you had a couple of tough losses earlier this week to Kellam, in fact, but you guys dug it out. It was a 15-point lead. They came roaring back, but you guys showed some tough defense down the stretch to keep them from taking the lead or tying it up and sending it to overtime.
Yeah, we love this matchup. Thomas Dale's very well coached and played very hard. And last year it came down to a half-court juggled three from Toa to win. And this year it was good to get the defense to get the win, especially with the struggles we had earlier this week and how much we worked on practice. Worked on it in practice. Just getting to our spots and knowing what to do in those situations.
Antonio Thompson really stood out today for 21 points, 16 rebounds, had a couple of crowd-roaring dunks, and also playing more of you move him around a lot. Versatility, showing some point forward skills. He's really just becoming a more all-around player for you, isn't he?
Yes. We learned a lot of lessons last year with guys moving them around, and Tony paid a lot of attention to guys like Jared Myers and Toa Hollenbeck, and he really embodied that role. And he did a couple practices at some local D2s, and they told him, you got to get the three-point shot, you got to get your dribble, and you saw it tonight. And especially, like you said, he changes the momentum of the game with dunks like that, and we're very lucky to have number 5.
Certainly, he stands out athletically. You've got the big guy inside in Chris Sock, and then two other guys that stepped up for you throughout the game at different points. Jaden Reed with his shooting, and then also Justin Blanco, your point guard, who had a bunch of steals, and he just kept mixing it up for you.
Justin Blanco is the hardest working player I've coached in a long time, in practice and in the games. He learned a lot from our alumni. We had a very good defensive team last year, and he's just a ball hawk. And then Jaden Reed, our sophomore, him and Darren Bish both had huge plays in this game. Darren with his defense and his ability to split two people. And then Jaden knocks down those shots all day in practice. And once he gets that confidence in the game, it's fun to watch.
When you go into a game against a Thomas Dale, and I know your region's got a lot of quality in it, but not just with the local schools like your Lansdowns, your Oscar Smiths, and Western Branches, but those Richmond schools when you throw in the Dales, the Manchester, was it tough to get a read on them because they played also it's not a team from outside the area, but they had like 14 guys in the first half, so saw action for them.
Yeah, I love the way they're coached. I love the mentality up there, and it's a whole different brand of basketball up north. And we've got Griff and I talked about it, and we've got to get better getting up there and having them down here. And Thomas, Dale, and I, now you've had 2 games that came down to shots at the buzzer. So we really like that matchup. And we went to Cosby earlier this year, and we like getting the games at home. That drive is a killer.
But that helps you. Last thing for you, that helps you as you get ready for the playoffs. Last year was a landmark season in the sense that you got your first region playoff win as a school. I mean, you want to keep building this, and when you see guys like Toa come back, he's not seeing you. It certainly gives the camaraderie and what you want as far as a program, right?
We really bought into the family mentality when it comes to alumni, and to have Christian Chandler, Chris Hayes, Toa, Hollenbeck, Jared Myers, and Aiden Blanco, Justin's brother here. It shows that the family mentality really kept in with those guys coming back on their first day of break. So it was great to see them. They gave a nice little speech in the post game, and hopefully this is a get the season on track moment.
Yeah, for sure. Well, a good atmosphere tonight before the holiday break. Coach Johnson, the Grizzlies to the win. Thanks so much. All the best.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Appreciate it. Thanks. So that was Erik Johnson of the Grassfield Grizzlies on the hash with Hatfield last night. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk today. You also have our Field Hockey with Hatfield podcast. Check them out, all of them. Go to our playlist, which is up there as well on the Virginia Beach Sportsplex YouTube channel. We're also streaming on virginiapreps.com, Twitter, X at 757 Sports Talk. We got people joining us all over the place, all over the web. We got Eustacio and Norfolk, our man Justin Conyers watching, Jay Safi, all kinds of folks. We appreciate all the people tuning in all over the web. Ed, you heard Coach Johnson of Grassfield, one of your counterparts, 58-56 winner over Thomas Dale with the 21 points and 16 boards from Antonio Thompson. Good thing for you is you don't have to worry about them until the last game of the regular season, but they needed that win 2-4 after they took a pretty sizable loss to Kellum earlier in the week. And I think the biggest surprise last night in terms of the high school hoops action, we did jinx, unfortunately. I'm blaming it on you. We had Norm Hassel on the show last week, playback clip, and he lost by 1 to Princess Anne. It's all you. If he came on with me on the hash with Hatfield, we would do a basketball one on the hardwood with Hatfield would be great. He would have won. He lost to PA 51-50. And meanwhile, good week for PA, by the way. They started out 1-3, beat Green Run in overtime, beat Kellum on Friday night. But Salem of Virginia Beach knocking off Lansdowne last night. A little bit of a surprise there in hoops action. Lansdowne will be one of 8 teams in action today at the Woodside Hoops Fest going on over there. And Newport News, 1 o'clock start with James Monroe taking on Churchland. James Monroe has a freshman who scored 56 points, Mikkel Minor, earlier this year. 3 o'clock, you have Forest Park coming down to take on Kings Fork from your district and the city of Suffolk. 5 o'clock, Lansdowne Lake Taylor, and 7 o'clock is Woodside against reigning 2-time Class 6 state champion Hayfield. But your thoughts there from Coach E of Grassfield and some of the high school hoops action from Friday night.
Well, as far as E goes, he's doing, I think, a really, really great job at Grassfield, not just so much on the floor with his kids, definitely off the floor. If you follow along with what he does, he's a regular on social media with some of the great things his team does, and he's installed his philosophy, his program, and they've responded well. They got us last year at their place in a heck of a game. I think it was 83-82, where we missed a 3 at the buzzer to win it. After being down by as much as 20, I think at halftime, we came back, put a heck of a comeback on the second half, just couldn't finish it out. But yeah, he's done a great job. He beat a tough Thomas Dale program that's known in football and basketball. So, that's a great win for him. I don't have to worry about him until February, and he's not even on our radar right now because we have so many games before, but we will have them looked at, scouted, and so forth. In fact, we play them on senior night at our place. So that's usually a high energy game for us. So that should be hopefully a good one. As far as last night goes, yeah, you could say Salem was a slight upset over Lansdowne because how good Lansdowne was predicted to be and is. December is where you're still filling each other out, your team out as to what 5 you have out on the floor, what combos you're looking at. But of course, Lansdowne and Salem is a traditional game because they're in the same district, so they're going to play each other. I think is it twice this year they're going to play. I don't know what the basketball schedule at the beach is, but I did see some of the scores from last night. I didn't really get a chance to see all of them just in time. Trying to recover from our game. Our game was a lot of energy last night. Our game was a tale of 2 halves. We were down most of the entire first half, sometimes much as 13 or 14, if I'm not mistaken. And then second half was a completely different ball game for us against Deep Creek. Another team, Craig Frost, who I got to mention, one of my former assistants, still a great, great friend of mine, always has his team playing really hard and always in the right spots. And he got so many doggone shooters that they could stretch your defense out. So that was a task. Even though we won by 15, trust me, it didn't seem it. And I felt it after the game, and I felt it this morning because it wiped me out. I was going up and down that sideline like I was playing. But that tournament you mentioned today over at Woodside, people, if you want to see some of the better teams in the area, that's the one you get to. Woodside, defending state champion at the 5A level, who I think is on course to repeat. I don't think anybody's going to stand in their way to knock them off and repeating. Still got a whole lot of basketball to go.
Yes.
Some really good team. Lake Taylor's in that. I think that's a team very, very easily. Now, I won't say easy. Yogi won't like that. That's a team that pretty much can win a 3A state title.
We got a number one in the state on Virginia Preps. And Northside, the defending champ, lost in overtime this week to a good Carlisle school, private school program. I know you were against me on that. I should have had Billy Pope's Vikings number one, the veteran who's won 500, 600 games in his career. But by the way, real quick, not to cut you off, another big performance last night. If we were to give a player of the night performance, it would go to Ben Nacy, the big man at Cox, 35 points as Cox beat Tallwood 66-51. But going back to your point, a lot of good basketball today over at Woodside. Go check that out. Yeah, that's a tournament, an early season tournament to see if you want to see some really good teams that they put together over there at Woodside. And again, like I said, December, people are in tournaments coming up here in the next week or so. And then when we get into January, it's mostly a lot of district play. Of course, we got the Virginia Preps Classic coming up. You'll have a smattering of some showcases that are coming up. We're fortunate. Week after next, we're going to Raleigh, North Carolina area for a big time tournament that I'm not even sure what we're getting into. I just know there's 2 teams that lost in the state title last year, 2 teams that won a state title in the last 3 years in North Carolina. Teams from Chapel Hill High School, Durham High School, of that nature. So we're going to get tested very much in a 3-game tournament. So, you want to do these things to kind of see where your team is as you get through. So people got to get out there and see some of these teams play. Yeah, for sure. We're going to take another timeout. We've got still on the way Dave Macedo, Virginia Wesleyan men's basketball coach, got themselves a win over Christopher Newport. Jeremy Blunt, head football coach of the Class 4 state champion Phoebus Phantoms, victorious over the Salem Spartans last week to win the state title over there at Liberty University in Lynchburg. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with the coach Ed Young. I'm Matt Hatfield. Like, share, and subscribe to our Virginia Beach Sportsplex YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a bit after we hear from some of our sponsors that make it all possible for us at the Plex. Don't go anywhere.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar, IV hydration and vitamin therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk on the 16th day of December, the year 2023. Like, share, and subscribe to our Virginia Sportsplex YouTube channel for much, much more. Here with us, we have NFL picks coming your way as well later on in the show. Ed, are you going to watch some basketball today, or is it Christmas shopping for you on this Saturday? What's on the docket for you? What's lined up?
We gave the kids off today. We don't play till next Wednesday, so I gave them today off. Mental break, I think mostly could say it. And Christmas shopping is not going to happen. I don't Christmas shop anymore.
You don't do? What are you? Are you like Charles Barkley? You don't think anybody deserves presents unless they're under the age of 18, which he, by the way, has been outspoken about.
No, it's different reasons. I don't really do the Christmas thing anymore. Love it. Absolutely love Christmas time. It's as the song says, best time of the year. I wish there was snow that Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, though, which we won't get. But in my upbringing, in my youth days, I remember back in Pennsylvania, many Christmas Eves and Christmas, we'd get a ton of snow, be out there sled riding, snowballing, whatever. But that won't happen here. But no, I don't partake of the shopping and getting people everything and whatever. I don't, not to be a downer, but I lost my mom 5 years ago at Christmas, and it's kind of taken that part of Christmas away from me. I just to feel different about it. So I don't really celebrate the Christmas in that way. And I have some great people I would love to get presents for and let them know what their friendship and that means to me. But I just don't partake in that way. So I enjoy it the other way. Food-wise, oh, Lord, I'll be putting me a big turkey in the oven, probably about a 15-pounder, and eat it for the next 5 or 6 days after that and all the trimming. So we'll celebrate it that way, in that manner also. And, we give the kids off right over Christmas. I think we're going to give them about 3 or 4 days this year off. And then we got to get ready because we go right down to Carolina on the 27th to the 30th. So our break will be kind of short, so to speak, in terms of Christmas break.
All right. Well, you know who got themselves an early Christmas present? The Mullins of Virginia Wesleyan, yes. Dave Macedo's team.
Missed it.
Victorious. Yeah, you did miss it. You had all those parent-teacher conference meetings, whatever you had on at Mansfield River.
I know what? I'm mad at myself because I highlighted some big games to go see, take our players to. That was probably the number one CNU and Wesleyan. I only play each other once a year, and I missed it. And I was so heated because we had scheduled a parent meeting about the Carolina trip, and I didn't have any assistants to be there in my place because I had to be there to answer questions. And by the time we really got done with it, where they were done with me, I probably would have got there in the last 3 minutes of the game. So I didn't make the trip over to Christopher Newport. So that bothers me. I'll get out and see both those teams play, but I really like seeing them play each other. Got tremendous respect for Dave and John and how their kids play in that. So I missed a treat.
Well, here's what Dave Macedo told yours truly after the win over CNU on Thursday night in Newport News, a matchup of Division III Titans, heavyweights, if you will, in college hoops. 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Hatfield and Young from the Plex.
All right, here with Virginia Wesleyan head basketball coach Dave Macedo. His Mullins get a gritty road win over the reigning Division III national champion Christopher Newport Captain 74-68. Coach, you got off to a great start, 12-2. I thought your defense was locked in from the start and down the stretch. It also came through for you in clutch time.
I would agree with you. I think that's been something we've hung our hat on this year. We've taken a lot of pride in. We're more physical now. We could have been much better at times. Certainly, offensive rebounds, and I thought they went around us a little bit. And give them credit; they made some tough shots, tough plays. But Proud of the guys, the way they fought, the way they competed, and we made plays when we had to.
Absolutely. So many guys stepped up throughout the game. I thought in the second half, as they were making a comeback effort, a couple of guys in particular stepped up. Khalil Davis had 7 points, including that rim-rattling slam driving from the corner to the baseline. And then Jordan Crump also steadied you when you needed some more offensive flow, I thought, too.
Yeah, I thought both of those guys stepped up at different times. And, we're asking Jordan to guard the other team's best player at times, too. But Khalil, tonight was kind of a breakout game for him. His energy is contagious. He did a good job. And then certainly if we can get other guys playing the way we want, we'd be right where we need to be.
What was the big adjustment or discussion with the group at halftime? Because they were starting to get closer, but you guys were keeping them at bay as well.
Well, they had 6. They out-rebounded us by 6. They had 10 offensive rebounds. I just thought we had to do a better job being physical in our league especially, and then obviously coming over here. And then I thought we were careless with the ball at times, Matt. You saw that. We turned it over just without any pressure, just, not making the right play. And once we started giving ourselves up and making the right decision, we were good. And we're still adjusting. I mean, we lost to Maury, early in the season, 5 games ago. And our offense is not where it needs to be, compared to our defense.
Well, speak on that. You lose a Maury DeVoe injury. I know down the stretch here, Kai Sargent was leading you in scoring at halftime. Are you holding your breath saying, oh, no, not the guy, another key guy going down?
I think he'll be all right. I think he cramped up, so I think we'll get him there. But he was bleeding. He had a cut on his hand, and his jersey got ripped. So, it was a physical game tonight. Yeah, but give him a lot of credit. Kai made some nice plays.
Absolutely. Last two for you. It is a physical game. They got some good talent. You know about the Hines brothers and John and Colin. I know we're probably at the top of near the top of your scouting report. I mean, to get a win like this, I know it's a local rivalry game, defending champs. It's got to mean a lot for your team moving forward.
No, it does, especially when you lose a guy like Maury, and we're still trying to figure out how to play without him, and different guys are stepping in different roles. So that was good for us to come on the road. Our defense traveled tonight, so I'm proud of them.
And lastly, for you and John and seeing you continue this rivalry, even though you're not in the same conference, if you will, it's got to be important for the area and for college basketball in our state, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a high level of Division III basketball. You look at the kids out there. There's so many kids out there that I feel like could play at a higher level that decided to go to one of these two programs because they wanted to win and they wanted to do some good things or stay close to home, and that's a good feeling.
Well, quality road win for Coach Macedo and the Marlins tonight here in Newport News. Thanks so much. All the best.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Appreciate it.
That was Dave Macedo, Virginia Wesleyan, victorious on Thursday night over Christopher Newport on the road. And as I look at Virginia Wesleyan's basketball schedule, and by the way, a lot of good Division III action even across our state. Hampton-Sydney, got to shout them out. They're number 6 in the nation. They beat CNU earlier this year to start the season. They've got John Carroll, the number 1 team in America, coming up on Tuesday up in Ohio. But the North Beach Plastic Surgery Christmas Classic going on at Town Bank Arena today at Virginia Wesleyan. They're taking on Johnson and Wales, 5 o'clock matchup. If you want to see more of the Marlins, then they play Belhaven University out of Mississippi tomorrow, 3 o'clock on Sunday, December 17th. Have a little break until they return after holidays, January 3rd against Shenandoah for an ODAC matchup, a Wednesday 5 o'clock game that Ed Young will try to put on his schedule amidst his practice and all his preparation as he turns the calendar from 2023 to 2024 and see some Marlins. You don't have any current, or I should say former, Nansman River Warriors on the roster, but there are a lot of local kids on the team. Got some contributions from a young man of Paul Anderson from South County. Got some contributions from Miles Wallace out of Georgia. Some out-of-area guys, Jordan Crump from Highland Springs stepped up, but also one of the local flavors that really stepped up in a big, big way was Khalil Davis. You remember him, Ed, from then Woodrow Wilson, now Manor and Portsmouth, high-flying 6'6" forward type. He was really active in the second half we talked about there, but a good win for them over CNU, who I'm sure will be back in the picture as far as Division III tournament, nationally speaking, and Virginia Wesleyan might be there again too.
Yeah, I definitely look for both those teams to be in the field of, I don't know, what do they have, 32 Division III at the end of the year. But again, I tell people, Division III basketball, a lot of people are just misinformed how good it is. CNU won the national title last year, and Wesleyan has one in their history also. And they're local, so we get to see among the best in the nation. If you make a little drive to Randolph-Macon, they won the national title, was it 2 years ago? So all three of those teams are excellently coached by guys that are very motivated, very into what they do, very much for their kids, high character guys. Kids play hard. The talent level is tremendous. You got to get out and see it. We get so blinded by Division I because it's on TV. It's scholarship. All those kids have scholarships that we don't understand how good Division III basketball is. You got to get out and see a game. See them play. I even take it a step further and look at some of the other local schools, like the Apprentice School. out of Newport News is another team that's played at the national level for their national title. They're in that tournament. Evan Key does a great job. We've got a couple smaller local schools, Virginia Peninsula Community College over there on the peninsula. And now they do have one of my former players, Chris Hayes and Keyshawn Johnson has played for them. And Camp Community College out of Suffolk, a brand new program, has one of my players, Jalen Duckett. I saw one of their games. Kids play hard. They got talent. And there was like 20 people in the stands. You got to be kidding me. Maybe we got to do a better job of promoting it. The schools got to do a better job of promoting it. But small college basketball is kind of neat to see because you have players that didn't get the opportunity to go to a scholarship school, get the scholarship. They play just as hard. Maybe didn't have the talent package that a bigger school wanted, or they didn't have the size or the speed, but they don't play any less the basketball at those games. So I just encourage people to get out and see them play. And I'm truly, truly mad at myself for missing Wesleyan and the CNU matchup, because that's the one every year I got to see. To me, as a coach, that's my big time Division I matchup. And I go because of the coaches to see what they do against each other, because I know them and I know a little bit about their philosophies. And get out and see them play. It's that simple. Get out and see them play.
You should be punished. Shame, shame, shame on you.
I tell you, it's bothering me more than you think. I mean, because they're not going to play each other again this year. And I don't think of the way it's set up, they would even meet in the
bad job by you
national tournament either. So
you missed JMU ODU last week. You missed CNU VWU. He's gonna miss ODU VC Women tomorrow in Richmond. I'll be on the bus heading up there later today. What else are you gonna miss? You're just missing everything, sir.
Well,
world's flashing by before your eyes, and you're not there.
Normally I do is I put up a master schedule in my office of all the local games, so I know who's playing. Especially if we have kids out there playing, and we do like to take our players out to games. And I've been so wrapped up in getting my team straight with the practices. Some of my practices, I got early practice. Sometimes I'll go late. I'm doing some film work on these teams coming up, like the Carolina trip. I know nothing about these teams, and I want to go down there naked, so to speak. So we're trying to watch some early games and film and try to put a game plan together for that. And then this is the type of team that I have this year that you almost got to coach every possession. A lot of youngsters all over the place, and it takes a lot of energy with this ball club here. And last night really showed it. And I thought my assistant coaches last night, Joe Hassell, Marquis Cuffey, Buck Moore, Curtis Rouse gave us a lot of good moves off the bench, and their game management of our players' minutes, which is pretty much under their responsibility during the games. They have the right units in there, so they've done a great job. But it is some great, great basketball. You know me, this is my time of the year. I really like watching football. I love baseball, but those things take a back seat quickly when hoop season is here. Thanksgiving, I didn't watch any football on Thanksgiving. All I watched was basketball,
which is bad.
Yeah, I won't watch any football. Christmas Eve, it'll be if I watch anything, it'll be basketball.
A little birdie told me you're gonna be watching some NBA in person soon. I don't know if I can divulge the details of that, but little birdie told me that. Is that true to that little birdie? Was that little birdie accurate, or is he inaccurate?
No, we can't divulge that move.
Oh, we can't divulge that? Okay.
That's an aftertell.
That's a what?
That's an aftertell. You do the thing first, then you let everybody know what you did, and then they can't mess it up. So
okay. Well, listen, there are cameras out everywhere. So if I happen to see across my timeline tonight while I'm in Richmond, near the stew at the Siegel Center, someone sends me a video of Ed Young somewhere out there. I'm just letting you know I have people on the scene. And by the way, I heard little birdie told me too that I don't know if it was last night or tonight, the ODU football team, which we brought them up earlier about the bowl game, Nick did actually on the comments, that they're going to check out the Hornets play. So how about that? The ODU football team they get a little double dip, see a little NBA action before the bowl game. How about that?
I think the Panthers play at home Sunday too. I wonder if they'll go over and see that NFL game.
I have no idea. Hey, our man Dan Malloy's watching the show. Good to hear from Dan.
Down at the University of Charlotte, right?
Who's that?
ODU football. Yeah. Aren't they practicing where the University of North Carolina Charlotte plays?
I have no idea where they're practicing.
Yeah.
They could be.
And I think isn't that where the game is? What is it? The Toaster Bowl?
The famous Toastery Bowl.
Oh,
And it's at Jerry Richardson Stadium. Yes, there you go.
Oh, so they are going to play where Carolina plays. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
Hey, Dan Malloy's joined us. Hey, what a job they're. Oh, you know what? I stand corrected again. His ball club was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Having a heck of a year too. Here we go, Division III again.
Yeah,
heck of a year. One of the high-scoring teams in the country. I think they've only lost one time, and Dan has joined that. This year's his first year as an assistant, if I'm not mistaken, after a lot of years here as a high school coach. So, congrats to him and the effect he's had on that ball club. Once again, some great Division III basketball.
He worked with the great Craig Brehan, who's got over 400+ wins. We'll probably try to get on the show. We might have to tape it next week because they have the big Iverson Bethel showcase. I think it's next Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, is when it is. But we'll have to get Craig on the show. Maybe record an interview to talk about some of the teams and players and the genesis behind that and all that the great Allen Iverson does with that hoops event coming up next week. So many things to talk about, even though we're going into holiday break. You got the football bowl games. The NFL's winding down. We've talked about some state championships. You can watch some of the interviews with Doreen McCain of Maury, Daryl Overton of Freedom as we move it into high school hoops action. And by the way, we are supposed to be joined, we believe, here in the next little bit by Jeremy Blunt, who's got that canned food drive going on at Phoebus, the 3-time state champs now in a row for that. It is the 23rd. Dan tells us that's good to know. Yep, next weekend is that over at Bethel. So, I mean, there's just so much happening around the sports scene, even though we are going into Christmas break here. We'll still be coming on with the show. Might be at different times, if you will, as we're moving and grooving different places, Ed in different locations, myself as well. But we will take another time out. And we will come back with the NFL picks for week number 15. And I'm so disheveled, everybody. I've been telling everybody that I know this, that Ed Young is not this smart. I'm not saying you're not smart, but I say this smart. This smart being 8-1 the last 3 weeks in NFL picks. You've never done that well through 3 weeks, ever. But see, you have an informant. You have a tipster. I don't know who the tipster is, but you got a tipster. And I want to know who it is. Is it someone with local ties, no ties, bow ties? I just don't believe for a second that you have this kind of insight. Well, I am struggling. You know, the last couple of years on radio, Dino and I kicked your tail in NFL picks. Now here you are kicking my tail, and I cannot handle it. I'm not dealing with adversity well. I don't deal with adversity well. Go ahead. You want to chime in? I'll give you the floor. Go ahead. Mike's yours. Go ahead. I'll go take a break. Go ahead.
Like we tell the kids, when you do your homework, when you study your craft, you can do well. I don't always have the time to study the picks and all that. It's not a priority. But when I sit down and mash the potatoes with the numbers, I can pretty much tell you, I'm going to say 75% of the time, who's winning and why. But I don't always have that information to give out that easy because the people who do it in Vegas get paid for it. I don't get paid for that. That's not my expertise. You often win a lot because sometimes you study it, sometimes you guess it, and you always cheat. So therefore, you're going to have good records. My records get disheveled over the years. They get twisted around, and wins turn into losses because I am notorious for winning. So therefore, I accept all that. It's not a big deal. You let life come at you. You know, they say life is 80% what happens, 20% how you react to it. So I take the calm method to react. So when I go 8-1, I do not surprise myself. It's just the fact that if I spent that kind of time into it, I could make some money.
You are full of crap, Ola. You do surprise yourself. You can't say that with a straight face. You're not surprised. The world is stunned. There's not a soul out there that believes anything you just said. All that hogwash.
You can't say nobody don't believe in me.
Oh yeah, you little bobblehead, you little voodoo doll. I'm gonna rip his head off in about 5 minutes.
He don't say much, but boy, he knows. And
by the way, I am done picking the Atlanta Falcons. I don't care if it's Desmond Ridder at quarterback, if it's Taylor Heineke, the ODU legend. That team can't get out of its own way. I've lost 4 games now in which I've picked them. I think I'm 0-4 since week 6. Since week 6, I've lost 4 times.
All right, let me help you.
If I hadn't picked the Falcons, I'd be up right now on you 25-16-1 to your 24-16-2. I'm done picking the dirty birds. They don't have Jamal Anderson or Chris Chandler or Michael Vick walking through that door. I'm done with it.
I'm trying to help you. Lock of the week. Take the Falcons tomorrow against Carolina. Just telling you, take the Falcons tomorrow. I'm giving you a freebie. In fact, we always pick 3 games. See, so
well,
people
if you're that confident in the Falcons, as we have people chiming in, exactly right, Nick. That is definite coach talk. And Dan says, "I believe in you, but you were milking that." He was more than milking that, folks. More than milking that.
No, look, you guys don't know me. See, we pick every week. We pick 3 games. I'm willing this week. This week, I'm giving Hatfield 4 picks. I'm going to take 3. I'm going to give him 4 picks. He would never do this to me, but I'm going to give him 4 picks.
I don't want an extra game. That's another chance for me to lose one right now. The bad. Listen,
give it to you if you want it.
As people know that invest in these things, when you're on a hot streak, you're on a hot streak. When you're on a cold streak, you're on a cold streak. Right now, I'm on a cold spell, so I'm not going to test my luck, if you will, with that any more than I am. So, literally or figuratively speaking. You have something else to say before we go to break here?
Yeah, I'm talking big because my Raiders destroyed the Chargers, and I picked the Raiders. I did pick the Raiders to win that game, not 63 points, no. And I did say at halftime, I was talking to somebody on the phone about my buddy from high school days. He said, "Man, your Raiders are looking good." I said, "You know what though? This game is going to get the San Diego coach fired probably the next day," and it happened. But I didn't know the GM was gone too. But that game, pretty much, not just that game, but Brandon Staley has been on fire on the hot seat. Almost since the day he took the job. And I remember you and I, when he got hired, you and I talked about it, and I think I made a comment. Maybe a tremendous coordinator assistant. I don't see him as a head coach, and unfortunately, it came out that way. I don't think he'll get a head coaching job in a while. Now the speculation, of course, and all the interest is who's getting a job. I heard Jim Harbaugh 99 million times, and a little bit of Bill Belichick getting it. Won't be surprised if neither one of them gets that job.
All right, we'll take another timeout, come back with the NFL picks, and before we sign off, hopefully hear from Jeremy Blunt of the Phoebus Phantoms. It is Hatfield and Young at the Plex. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel with the Virginia Beach Sportsplex, and stay tuned for more.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy tastes good.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
That's the DQ Cheeseburger Lovers Deal. 2 singles for $5 or 2 doubles for $7 for a limited time. So, how is it? Deal this good speaks for itself, I guess. DQ, happy tastes good.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
What could you have done differently in preparation to get these guys better prepared to play tonight?
Everything. I didn't do anything well enough to get us ready to play tonight.
So if that's the case, then why should you be the coach? If that's
games like this happen in the NFL. To every coach that's ever coached in this league, you can look at any great coach that's ever coached in the league. Sometimes games like this happen, and I don't need to retrace history, but it's part of sports. Sometimes there are games where it doesn't go right, none of it, and you got to put it behind you and you got to move on to the next thing.
You can look at any great coach in the league, Brandon Staley said. Well, guess what? You're not one of those great coaches. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Hatfield and Young at the Plex. Like, share, and subscribe to our Virginia Beach Sportsplex YouTube channel, and also stream it on X or Twitter at 757 Sports Talk, and on Facebook with our Virginia Beach Sportsplex Facebook channel. We've been on IG Live. We'll be on IG Live some more as well, and on VirginiaPreps.com on our front page. We're slapped up there each and every weekend, archive for past shows, and links to that too on the VirginiaPreps.com site with the Rivals Network and all across the web. All right, Ed, where are we going for the NFL picks? We'll start things off. Would you like to see Bruce's picks as we fire up the music before we get rolling here with it? I'm sure you would be very interested in seeing what Brucey has for this week's picks, and you love to get on one of his picks and take it as well to kind of get yourself an easy cushion win when he's on a little revved up roll. And right now, Bruce is not doing too bad. He's 20-20-2 on the year as we flash back up on the screen right now. Our standings here for folks to see it. Yep, Ed is 24-16-2. He's going to gloat 8-1 the last 3 weeks. He won on the Rams, Baltimore over 39.5. Easy win for him there. Went to OT, by the way. Detroit -3 was a loser. Chicago won 28-13, the Bears. And he also was able to get over 500 with a win with the Saints 28-6, a winner last week, minus the 5.5. I was 1-2, lost on the Falcons -2.5. The Bucks won 29-25. Dolphins -13.5, did not win for me, lost outright. By the way, how big of a disgrace and choke job was that for Miami? Was that awful or what? Up 2 touchdowns with 4 minutes to go, and they lose the game outright. I mean, what in the world? Against Tennessee. It wasn't exactly they were playing the Bills or the Niners or the Eagles there.
You know, sometimes I wonder when these people say it's all the games are fixed and whatever, and I always argue. I got a friend, West Virginia, he thinks their games are always fixed because I tell him, boy, some of these picks are so tough.
Is that your guy, Reno, by the way? Is that a Reno who thinks they're fixed?
Yeah, Reno has some crazy suspicions about sports. He said he knows things because he looks into it. But
we gotta get Reno on the show because he knows you too well. The last time we had him on radio, he was spilling the beans on you. He got you dead to right. It was great.
Yeah, he would blast me. Reno, we've been friends 30 some years. He knows me. He knows me well. He would have no problem blasting me on being wide open like this in the public. And then want to know if he wants to go. If I want to go to dinner with him right after he's blasting me. That's the kind of great friend he is.
He's right in my alley. Yeah,
he's a great dude. I mean, he is a tremendous dude. I love him to death. And but he would rip me on here. He would expose a lot of skeletons in my closet.
We want you exposed. Well, we don't want you too exposed. That would be. I have to be careful what I wish for there.
It's not really. I probably use that old phrase the wrong way. He would put skeletons in my closet and make it seem like they were mine. He would be.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even have a closet to put skeletons in. Who puts skeletons in a closet? I ain't never heard of that.
Well, anyhow, I did get a win, though, to avoid going 0-3. Thank you, Jets and Texans, who were scoreless at the half. I took the gamble that was a gamble of over 32.5, and it was a 30-6 win for the Jets, who got hot in the second half. Thank goodness there for Zach Wilson and Gang Green. Bruce was 1-1-1. He won on Cincinnati -2.5. That's the win. He pushed on the Raiders +3, who lost to Minnesota 3-0 before their exploit. By the way, that just tells you how bad a job Brandon silly the Chargers are. They gave up a gazillion points to the Raiders who got shut out by the Vikings last week. 3-0. It was the most unwatchable regular season game in the last 25 years.
That game was hard to watch.
Oh.
I think I watched some Sanford and Son reruns in the middle of it.
And Elizabeth was coming to join you home there, as Fred would say. Yeah. That was bad. Niners minus 13. Bruce lost by a point, though. He's 20-2 on the campaign. So there you have it. All right. Let's go for you first. What do you got for your first selection?
Well, I told you to take the Falcons, but you won't. So America wants to know, well, is he going to take the Falcons since he's the one who's guaranteeing it? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the Bengals -3 with Minnesota.
You got to be kidding me. You're taking the Bengals. Is it 3 now?
I don't know. It's what I'm looking. It's what you sent me.
Well, I'll give it to you if what I sent you was -3. That was literally on my little notebook I keep right here for folks to see as it goes. You can't see it on the screen, so we'll forget that right now. I got a little pad, as Ed's seen it before. That was literally the first pick I had was Bengals -4. And, of course, you get it at -3 just to really agitate more and more.
I mean, hey, when you're a champion, you deserve these kind of breaks. So
you don't deserve any breaks. You make the breaks.
Boy, I tell you, when you're on top, it's all great. When I'm on top, it's
I hate
he lied, he did this, he did that. But it's okay. We understand. My men in black, we understand what's going on.
Oh, yeah, you and Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. And Nick is right. His Vikings are going to beat your Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals. Matter of fact,
you could be right, Nick. You could be right because I'm a little scared about Cincinnati's offensive line play. Still not sold on the quarterback, but who's the Bengals playing the quarter? I mean, Mike is playing the quarterback. Is it going to be is it Moon Mullins or somebody?
You said the Vikings. It's Nick Mullins. It's Nick Mullins. Where are you going with that?
Well, his nickname is Moon.
His name is not Moon.
Tell me, look it up. Look it up.
You're thinking of Warren. You're thinking of Warren Moon.
No, Moon Mullins is it? Moon is his nickname. Not the Warren Mullins.
It's not his nickname. Moon Mullins. Are you serious?
Oh Lord, look it up. Somebody look it up.
Moon Mullins. That was a comic strip. No.
Hey, with some of the backup play in the NFL this year, comic strip is a great place where these guys came.
Yeah, not kidding. All right, let's move it along here.
I mean, who was San Diego's backup quarterback? Is the guy out of the third row, section 8, row 4?
Easton Stick.
Yeah, he was sitting behind the goalpost.
Better than Easton.
Yeah, that dude. Where did he play college ball? Never heard.
All right, let's get to my 2 picks.
Stop stalling.
I'm not stalling. I'm not Joseph. I'm not any stalling. All right, for my first selection, I'm not going to go Atlanta. I'm not going to go Cincinnati because you took them. I'm going to go outside the box with a team that is going to burn me, and they've burned me before, but I'm already going down the rabbit hole, so why not go all the way down the rabbit hole? All the way. You know who looked great last Sunday night, Ed, in the NFL? They just took apart the Philadelphia Eagles. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. What do I always say about the Cowboys? Do you know what I say about the Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
That's not what I say. I say that America's team is America's dream, and they're America's tease. And they play great at home, and Dak Prescott is having an MVP-like year. But they're going to Buffalo, who just won in Kansas City. Should have beat Philadelphia on the road, and they're returning home. And they've got their mojo back. And the line did drop down to -1.5. Give me the Bills, because nobody circles the wagons like Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They'll do it for the great 7'5" native Bruce Smith out of Booker T. Washington High School. I wish he was out there playing defense to sack Dak Prescott. But even with the Bills having some injuries on defense, I think they'll outscore the Cowboys. Over 49.5 is a good play in this game as well. Give me the Bills for selection numero uno. You have any quick thoughts before I give you selection numero dos?
I was looking at that game too, but I don't know. Dallas is just so fickle. And Buffalo, I thought beginning of the year was a definite Final Four team. I don't think they're definite. They can get there, but they're not. Now they play each other. And, of course, I think everybody's giving the advantage to Buffalo because it's in Buffalo. Could even be some snow going on that day. But it's not a bad pick. I think everybody's safe pick. I think America is going with Buffalo next year.
Yep. All right. Let's go to
Rick Ennis joined the crowd.
Yeah, we love Rick.
Man, one of the all-time greats in the striped shirt. And I think in his career, he's docked me twice with technical foul twice. Yeah, I think
I hope he's throwing you out. You deserve it.
No, I think it was on a jump ball. I said, Rick, you're not feeling good today? And he said, yeah, watch this. I got a technical.
Oh, I would have been roaring and rooting for him to do it.
Yeah, Rick.
Throw him out. Get him out of here.
Yeah, going back to Portsmouth, I think I've heard. I don't know.
That was what Daryl said, yeah.
But, Rick Ennis, one of the best. You know, he's more of a supervisor of the officials now. Thanks for joining, Rick. And there's a guy you want to get some stories on. And like I said, the TZ game, I can't quite remember.
I just saw Rick the night at the CNU Wesleyan game, in fact, by the way, which if you missed the show, you're just tuning in like Rick is. We've got some, you can always watch the show. You can rewind it back here, our interview with Dave Macedo. You can hear our interview with Erik Johnson of Grassfield, our reaction to the state championship games, and we'll be hopefully having Jeremy Blunt of the Phoebus Phantoms here in just a bit. But as we continue with our NFL picks, Ed's going Bengals -3. I'm going Bills -1.5. My second selection before Ed gets the next two, and we tell you Bruce Pearl's pick this week. I'm going to go with the Rams -6.5. I'm surprised they're only favored by this amount against the Washington Commanders, who can't stop anybody through the air defensively right now. I think Ron Rivera's days are numbered, obviously, in Washington. They had a pretty decent start to the year with Sam Howell among the NFL leaders in passing, and he's still right up there in terms of yardage and things of that nature as far as the passing categories. But the Rams need this game for their playoff hopes, and I think they will cover to 6.5. Lay it at home. Give me L.A., the Rams, to get it done for pick number 2. All right, the floor is yours, Ed, for the second and third selections for you today.
Okay, I've got to be careful here because I'm looking at the schedule, and it runs together because there's games there's a couple games on Thursday. No, I saw one that I liked. Where did it go? I don't want that one. Let me see.
Are you stalling so that your informant can give you picks like you've done the last 2 weeks and going 8-1? I think you're stalling over there. He's not going to text you back. He's not awake this morning, so you're screwed at this point. You just got to have to hope that I don't go 3-0 and catch you.
No, my the thing where you sent me the games is doing kind of weird. It just took all the games away.
Well, then you need to get a new phone or just wing it at this point.
No, I don't want to wing it. Who does Kansas City play?
The Kansas City Chiefs this week.
Are they off?
You know what? That's a game I wanted to take. They're playing at New England. They're laying 8.5. I don't want you to take this game. They're going to crush the Pats.
Yeah, give me that one. I thought that was.
That was my next pick. You've taken 2 of mine already.
Yeah, give me Kansas City.
How many tackles will Derek Nottie, the Ocean Lakes alum, have in this game?
You know what? I look for him to get at least 2 sacks.
Ooh.
I think he's going to get 2 sacks in this game.
He's going to bring Bailey Zappi down. All right. What is your last selection? Because you stalled to get one, but you have to take another one still.
Yeah, my schedule here. Okay, here's a game where these two teams have screwed me all year long. Every time I pick them, now they're playing each other. Denver, Detroit. And it's at Detroit.
That's an NFL Network part of today's triple header, by the way.
Yes. And I don't think Detroit, they lost last week.
You did?
I think, is that the game I lost last week?
It was.
Okay.
Good to know you're paying attention to the show, by the way.
I know. I don't think they'll lose twice in a row. I don't think they've done that this year. They've lost twice in a row. They are at home.
Really? Are you sure about that?
I won't put money on it, but somebody correct
please
me.
Don't, because if you did, you lose the money. They have lost. You know what? That's a good point. They didn't. They had to win in between that Packers Thanksgiving loss. They beat the Saints. So I thought you were wrong for a second, but you're right. They haven't lost back to back.
He never wants to give me credit, America. He never wants to give me credit.
I'm giving you credit now. I thought I forgot about the Saints.
But it was after you had argued whatever. But it's okay.
I just gave you credit. You're good.
I'm a good dude. I understand what you're going through, so I'm okay with it. Give me Detroit. I think Yogi's joining. Yogi, I'm going with Detroit over Denver -4.5.
You're going Detroit minus Denver.
Dan is a Broncos fan. I'm feeling for you, Dan. a lot of years of bad luck, Dan. I feel for you. But then again, I'm a Raider fan, so I ain't got much going for me either.
You know what would be beautiful in this game? I mean, I'm not sure that Dan would like it, but if the Lions won by a field goal and you didn't cover the 4.5, that's why I stay away from that game. Beautiful.
See, and that very well could, because Denver is a problem. One of those teams, I think, check the record, really good at home and shaky on the road. So I'm going to make this my tough pick, and it's probably the one I'm going to lose. I'm going Detroit -4.5 over Denver.
By the way, I think you would agree that Maury head football coach Doreen McKean is one of the smartest guys in the state as far as coaching goes, correct?
You win a state title, you get all my accolades.
Won 2 in 5 years, and he's 35 years of age, okay? I had Doreen McKean on the Hash with Hatfield on Friday, and I asked in a little rapid-fire segment at the end of the show who he's got for the college football playoff, what's your go-to song on your playlist, and, quick rapid-fire questions like we do with the kids. I said, who you got in the Super Bowl? Doreen McKean took the Denver Broncos. How about that? That's a long shot right now, but if you have faith in Doreen McKean, and a lot of Maury fans out there do, and he knows what he's talking about, how about that? That could win you some shekels if you want to invest on the Broncos at this point.
Even if you put them on them right now, I think your odds would be you can pay the car insurance for a few months if you take that one.
Well, listen, I think that's not a terrible pick, because who would have thought at 1-5 when KC was running away with the division that they would have a chance to win the AFC West, and they're not just a game out of first in the AFC West. I think that's a good pick by you with KC. I think they're going to roll away with that game. For my last selection, because you've taken 2 of mine with the Bengals and the Chiefs, I don't like the Lions there in that spot. Tell you what, I want to go against my Cardinals, but 12.5 is a fairly big number, and they could have a backdoor cover against the Niners, so I'm probably going to stay away from that one. Looking hard at Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and the Bay of Pigs battle at Lambeau Field. Although Jordan Love is up 1 week, down the next, he's liable to be up again this week. It's just too hard for me to call on that one. I want to stay away from that. 3.5 if you get beat on the hook there. The Falcons is tempting at the -3 spot. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very tempting. I tell you what, I'm going to go back to the well, and it's going to burn me. I'm quite sure, Ed. Miami Dolphins, they cost me last week. They're laying 8.5 against the Jets, who are coming off a win. I could get beat on the cover there with the Jets winning by, or not, losing by more than a touchdown. Or I should say they lose, by 7 or 8. But I will take the Dolphins laying the 8.5. I think they have to respond after being so flat. The Jets do have a good defense, which would concern me, but I think Tua and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, this game could be reminiscent of what the Bills did pulling away from the Jets a few weeks ago, second half. Give me the Miami Dolphins minus the 8.5. I had a couple over-unders I liked, but the over-unders I've been a little bit up and down on. I think the totals are starting to change and decrease more, which lends itself to some more overs. Early in the year, the unders were a great place, so I'm going to stay off of that for the time being. So to recap it, picks for us, and we'll tell you Bruce is on the screen here, -1.5 Bills for me, -8.5 Dolphins, and -6.5 Rams. Ed's got 3 favorites as well. Bengals minus the 3, Chiefs minus the 8.5, and Lions minus the 4.5. No doggies at all, and it is a chalky week, says Bruce. And by the way, I do like a dog potential to win outright in Jacksonville over Baltimore. If anybody wants to take a woof bow wow there. But here are Bruce's 3 selections this week, as we show them to you on the screen right now. Bruce is going Cincinnati minus the 3. He agrees with Ed, or Ed agrees with him, I should say. Indianapolis minus the 1.5 against the Steelers. I'm not as sure on that one. And he's taken the Cleveland Fresh-Made Brownies minus the 3 against the Bears at home. Justin Fields is playing a lot better, and that's a toss-up game. And how about Joe Flacco? The year that Joe Flacco is having at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, a rival of the team he won a Super Bowl with, the Baltimore Ravens. Pretty interesting, huh? Pretty interesting right there, yeah.
But again, I'd rather see Joe Flacco coming in as a backup than what was his name? The Chargers' 3rd-round pick or last-round pick.
The Chargers?
What's his name? The quarterback for the Chargers?
Easton Stick?
Oh, okay. Go fetch a stick or whatever.
Pogo Stick. Yeah.
Pogo Stick, whoever they got, or Danny DeVito with the Giants. Even though he's done all right the last couple of weeks. Matter of fact, we didn't talk about Giants. Who the Giants play this week? We overlooking a possible great pick.
Tommy DeVito, by the way, which was the name of Joe Pesci's character in Goodfellas, which is a top 10 movie, as I've said before. We got to do our top 10 movies. It's going to be a Christmas or New Year's segment for us on the show. Even though we talk sports, we got to do our top 10 movies. We'll put up Ed's top 10 movies on the screen, my top 10 movies, and get the reaction. And it doesn't have to even be a Christmas movie. You don't have to go with Home Alone or The Grinch, or it's Christmas related. It can just be top 10 movies, period. But you can sprinkle in a Christmas one if you like. By the way, the New York Football Giants are at the Saints this week. Laying 5.5 is New Orleans at home in that game. I think the Saints will win, but again, that cover is very dicey. I could see that being a 21-17, 17-13. Tommy Cutlet's special, keeping them in the game close, and the Saints break their heart. And the Saints offense has been very erratic with, I was going to say David Carr, but Derek Carr, who's been injured at times this year, playing through some pain.
You know, one of my informants told me the big upset this week, if he got big upset, would be Seattle.
He just woke up and texted you now. You want to change one of your picks, I'm sure. Go ahead. Let me hear about your informant.
I won't change it, but I kept looking at it hard. Seattle +3 over Philly.
I like that one, too, as an upset special because, it's not the Legion of Boom days when Cam Chancellor was patrolling in the secondary or even the great enforcer Kenny Easley. But I do think the Seahawks are starting to get some things corrected a bit on defense. They were so bad against the Niners the first go-round. So bad against the Cowboys, letting them come back to win. I think they're going to have a little bit of a late-season charge to try to get one of those wild cards, though I think the Rams are probably in front of them now as far as getting one of those last couple of wild cards to join the San Francisco 49ers as NFC West representatives in the postseason. But, Geno had a good start. He's been dinged up, not even in the lineup. They've used Drew Lock. I think if they're going to have to lean on their defense and running game more, and they've had Kenneth Walker banged up too. So I think Philadelphia, that cross-country, this is the last of Philly's tough games to close out the season because they have a little bit of a softer landing after this week. But I think going across the country, Jalen Hurts might not be 100%. That Philadelphia defense has been bad on third down as Dallas exposed, as did a couple other teams. That has upset potential, and that place can get loud and rocking late at night.
Yeah, as you look over the course of the season, in key upset games where we scratch our head and said, how did that happen? I.e. Miami losing. This would be one I think you look at, and I looked at it hard from one of my own picks, but then again, it's Philly, who I think is still one of the top 5 teams in the league. But as we've seen, remember San Francisco went through a phase where they lost 2 or 3 in a row, or 3 and 4 weekends, everybody thought San Francisco was automatic. Super Bowl pick. Who knows? Denver in the Super Bowl, it sounds wild, but, who knows?
We'll take a timeout and come back with more. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're streaming on VirginiaPreps.com, attached on Instagram, Twitter at 757 Sports Talk. We've been flashing on the screen. All you folks have been joining throughout the program, at least a lot of you folks. We haven't gotten all of you in there. And, of course, on VirginiaPreps.com. We've got more to come. Don't go anywhere. Right here with Hatfield and Young at the PLEX. Stay tuned.
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763. Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Man, I wish I was out there. Let's unretire. Why, Matt? Ready, Moss.
Reno? You alright? Hey, Grandpa! Grandpa? I still got it. 22. 22. Career game number 13. Let's see. Hey. I need that senior discount. That's the game. Mr. Marino, you mind if I take a selfie? Thank you.
I'm good. Right here, bro.
Unretirement? Who'd be dumb enough to do that?
At CHKD, sports medicine is more than just treating injuries. It's a whole team approach to caring for young athletes. With experienced physicians, surgeons, trainers, and rehab specialists here when kids and teens need them most. Our experts help young athletes prevent injuries too, with advanced training and conditioning programs that keep them in the game safely. CHKD Sports Medicine, where kids are more than patients and we're more than a hospital.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
Treat yourself to a visit to the Drip Bar IV Hydration and Vitamin Therapy in Virginia Beach. Boost your immunity, increase your energy, and promote anti-aging with our personalized treatments designed to ensure efficient nutrition absorption to rejuvenate your mind and body. Come see our chic and relaxing day spa for yourself today. We welcome walk-ins and appointments. Our medical professionals will help you achieve your best health and answer all your questions. The Drip Bar at Lansdowne Commons in Virginia Beach.
Welcome back to 757 Sports Talk. No, it's not in the pool. It's Hatfield and Young at the PLEX, the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. Here are two guys that, even though they never shut up, they're always dropping pearls of wisdom. Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
the local front, we've had a lot of games and things to react to as far as the high school football championships finishing up, high school basketball getting rolling here with tournaments here in the holiday action. But anything jump out at you about Draymond and Ohtani?
Well, Ohtani signing is intriguing. Everybody knew he was going to be the number one free agent. Everybody knew he was going to get a big contract, and the money he got, people were talking about $500 million, $600. He got close to $700 million, 10-year deal. I think the players deserve to get whatever they can if it's going to be given to them. But I am a person that says our professional athletes are vastly, vastly overpaid by far, no question about it. Ohtani everybody goes crazy over him because he's a pretty good pitcher, tremendous hitter. I think there's other guys that can do that. It's so traditional that you don't. And now people go gaga over it. I think it's overpayment. Everybody knew he was going to the Dodgers, that Blue Jays stuff. For a minute there, I thought maybe the Blue Jays snuck in, but it was pretty much Dodgers. He wants to get into playoffs. He was not going to get that with the Angels. Doesn't want to play in New York. It was LA all along. I just think they were paid. Now the deferred money is a whole different part of the story. It's a smart move by him and his agent. I think, is he a Scott Boras guy? I think he is, but to defer that money, he'll be being paid when he's long retired. Like Bobby Bonilla, a name from the past in baseball. The New York Mets, I think, still have another year or two to keep paying him. July 1st, I think he gets $2 million. And he's done it for the last 10, 15 years, and he hasn't even played in a while. So overpaid, and I wish him the best. And he won't pitch this coming year because of his second Tommy John surgery. Draymond Green, it is sad. It is just sad. There's a demon in him. He's a slightly modern day version of Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman did a lot of crazy things off the court, hard player on the court. Draymond Green does all his shenanigans on the court, and it ain't cute. I mean, he's slugging people, hitting people, and it's so surprising people haven't had a chance to retaliate and put him down. And he better be careful because somebody in that league could easily do it. But he's going to be indefinitely suspended. It potentially gets him up. It's kind of ironic. He's going to get suspended indefinitely. And a guy that did some stuff last year off the court, Jay Morant, is coming back soon. And hopefully he has fixed his situation, i.e. people he hangs with, decisions he's making as a young millionaire. These guys, they need help. If they need help, they need help. And I'm not going to sit here and judge them from a distance. But you can't be in the limelight like they are and do some of the crazy stuff you do that nobody thinks is cool and be able to get away with it. You just can't. It's just a sad commentary on that. And I just hope those guys, Draymond Green gets himself straight. Jay Morant, who's a tremendous talent, love watching him play. Hopefully he'll come back and some things have changed.
All right, we're efforting Jeremy Blunt. He's having some technical difficulties getting on our stream here with the podcast, so he's going to actually try to restart his phone. Just call me, so we're having some issues. If we can't get him that way, we might just try to put him on by cell phone where you can't see us and you can just hear the audio of us talking, possibly. If not, we might reschedule or recalibrate for maybe next week or down the road here. As he's also at his canned food drive, a lot of noise in the background there at Phoebus High School. So we do apologize about that delay for those that are waiting to hear from Coach Blunt to talk about his team's championship run and what just transpired there. So hopefully we will get him on as he's going to try to restart his phone to get that revved up. We'll throw the bowl games back up on the screen here real quickly, Ed, for this week, a number of them. Give me from a 1 to 10, which ones you are not going to watch, being 1 the lowest, 10 you will watch the most. Start off with this one today, 11 a.m., the Myrtle Beach Bowl, Georgia Southern taking on Ohio. I'm kind of like on a 5 or 6 on that. It is the early bowl game. I'll put it on. It's early in the day, but it's not one I'm just revved up for.
No, to me, it's a regular season game. I won't see that. It's in Myrtle Beach, great place to be. I think I have Ohio in that game. I think the spread was 3 or 4. I think I took Ohio.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I think I took Ohio in that game.
Georgia Southern actually favored by 2.5 in that game. How about the Jacksonville State Louisiana game, 2:15? That's about a 2 for me. I have no interest in that game.
No, Jacksonville State's first time they've ever been in a bowl. And they're coached by a guy from the past, Rich Rodriguez.
That's right.
Arizona, West Virginia fame. I think you'll have those guys going and rolling, but it's in New Orleans, and they're playing Louisiana. And I don't think Louisiana was hit hard by the portal, and I don't think Jacksonville State was. It might be one of the two, might be the only two teams that weren't. I'm going in a very close one. Louisiana, though, I think Jacksonville State will be fired up to get their first
Miami of Ohio against Appalachian State, 3:30. It's going against NFL action, which a lot of these games pretty much are. It's about a 6 or a 7 for me. If that game's close, you might hop over to it and watch a little bit of it because Appalachian State's got a name. And Miami of Ohio is not bad. They've had, I think, the best defense, or right there about in the MAC. That's probably one of the better of the games today. But because New Mexico State Fresno is about a 4 or 5 for me, and UCLA Boise ordinarily would be a pretty good game. But again, opt-outs in that as well as the Cal Texas Tech game. But what do you give those grades? Anything you give above a 6 for those games? It's hard to find anything above a 5 or a 6 at the most.
App State, no. App State game, no. I'm going with App State in that one. I think they're a -5. I'm going with App State. That one. UCLA Boise State is a little intriguing because we know Boise State's past. UCLA was supposed to have a fairly good year. That one's a little bit intriguing, but I think both those teams have been smacked by the portal departures. I'm going with UCLA in that one, in a close one. And the other game was, what was the third one you had mentioned? UCLA, Boise State, App State. Who was the third one you mentioned in that? Not there. I just can't think of who he had for that third game. Matt, who was that third game you mentioned? You had UCLA, Boise State. You had App State and who they were playing. Who was the other one in that one? Did I lose him? Uh-oh. I might have lost him. You hear me?
So you got me now? You got me, Coach? I think it was Fresno, New Mexico. But, Ed, we're going to have Jeremy Blunt with us here on the podcast by cell phone. We're not going to have him on by screen. Unfortunately, we're having some issues with that. But for the folks that do want to watch us as they hear us here on the podcast, let's play that clip for the thrilling touchdown to win the game over the Salem Spartans, an 86-yard TD from Maurikus Banks to Keyontae Gray. This courtesy of the NFHS Network.
Banks takes the snap. Looking over the top, got Gray. Caught! Keyontae Gray is going to walk it off. The Phoebus Phantoms are going to win the 2023 Class 4 championship. 85 yards.
Oh, my gosh. To Keyontae Gray.
Championship play that you had there with Jeremy, with your squad there with Keyontae Gray and Maurikus Banks, what you were going through as far as the emotion. You guys had gotten sacked the play before. What's going through your mind as you guys try to call that play to get it revved up and have a chance before you go to the overtime situation if you don't get the touchdown, because you know that's pretty much the last play of the game. You don't want to have a turnover there or a sack that could be a safety. Take me through that experience and that process if you can.
Right, that's exactly what was going on through our minds. You know, we were surveying the field. You know, we wanted to give it a shot to kind of put us in a little bit more position to see if it was worth taking the shot. We took the sack. You know, so what was going through my mind was, hey, I do not want to give these guys back the ball. So we gave the quarterback 2 signals. One was going to call for, hey, we're just going to go ahead and kneel it out and play for overtime. And the other one was going to call for us taking the shot, which was the play that we had put in. We wanted to see what coverage they were in. And when I surveyed what they had going on, you know, what was going through my mind was, hey, he believes we're going to kneel this thing out. So, you know, we went on ahead and said, let's let one fly. Let's see if we can put some pressure on those safeties really quickly. and just put something up there and see what happens. Basic play, that we run. And we're running this since the beginning of the year. Just putting pressure, two guys high on the safety and seeing if he can choose. And the quarterback was poised. The line gave him some great protection, and our receiver did his job and he made that play.
I'm here with Coach Ed Young, who last year got a chance to talk with your star quarterback, Nolan James, after the state championship. I know he got hurt in that game, and Ed knows him from obviously was once at Nansemond River. And Ed, as we have Coach Blunt with us on the phone, your thought about and your questions to him as far as this championship, the third in a row, which you predicted start of the year, would happen for them 35 straight. What do you want to say to Coach Blunt here?
Well, first and foremost, Jeremy, congrats again on the title. I did pick you in July to win it. Expectations run high at Phoebus, but that's the program you have developed again and continued on from some past coaches, but it definitely have your thumbprint on it. I got to ask you, I'm jealous as a coach. I was fortunate in my life to win one. You've got 3 in a row. It's kind of on your schedule now. As you look at the 3, and if you've had really time to reflect, I see you're busy today too in the community can drive. Hats off to you on that too. Tremendous of you to give of your team to the general public also. How do you look at the 3 championship teams? What differentiates them, and what is the common bond?
Sure. Yep, I got you. I know you're having a hard time. Yeah, absolutely. Just to repeat his question, because you're having a hard time with this. You want to know what's kind of the common bond and theme of this group and the three-peats of these teams. What would you kind of say to that question as far as the common bond and theme with this team? And I know it's some different cast of characters, but also a lot of the same faces, right?
Right. There are, our seniors, a lot of them started as sophomores during our 2021 campaign. And a lot of our juniors, our 25 class, started as freshmen or received a lot of playing time during that 21 campaign. So I think something that has helped us, when you look at and you put these 3, this 3-peat together is, there's a lot of familiarity in the locker room, number 1. Number 2, the experience. But number 3, we do create a family atmosphere. And the structure that we keep over top of these guys, with our goals and objectives, we don't sway away from them. We try to cancel out all the outside noise and focus on, what are we trying to accomplish day in and day out? And that's where our objectives come into play when you look at the overall goal. So, we follow that plan and the blueprint is in place and we don't deviate from it. So I think, something that has helped us is just that overall bond that those kids have in that locker room, the buy-in that they have for the coaching staff and their will to, push through all adversity and just find a way to win.
We'll get to your canned food drive and what you got going over there at Phoebus today and at second coach, and also how folks can help contribute to the community as far as to these kids getting those championship rings and jackets, doing some great things across the 757, which you all are doing even off the field to go with this incredible success. 35 consecutive wins on the field, 10 championships now in 22 years at Phoebus High School. Jeremy Blunt with us here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. I want to go back to something, though. We know about a lot of these headliners, which we've documented all year long on VirginiaPreps.com on our podcast here, as well as on The Hash with Hatfield, the Anthony Reddicks, the Tayshawn Stevensons, the Davion Roberts, the Bull, who's run for so many touchdowns this year for you, and so many other guys like Keyontae Gray. But the 9th grader, it's funny, right before the game, one of your administrators and principals now, and David Coakley, who used to coach football at Nansemond, was one of the office mates of Ed there. He told me there's that 9th grade quarterback who's going pretty good for us. Now, little did I know, or anybody know, the fans know that he would be the guy delivering the game-winning touchdown pass. 2 years in a row now, your starting quarterback goes down. Last year it was James. Jaden Early comes in. This year it's Maurikus Banks for Adonis Stowers, who was starting to play really, really well for you. Just speak to just the program and your coaching staff and his teammates, what they all did to help him and this maturity of this young man to get in that spot, win a couple of tough playoff games. You got to go in against Hampton. You play War Hill. Then you beat a very explosive King George team, and what he accomplished, which will go down in Phoebus lore.
I'll tell you, man. Number 1, what's made it special with Reek. I've known Reek since he was 8 years old. My quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, Carson Cutler, he worked Reek out when he was an 8th grader. So it's a testament to the time that he's put in. Reek has learned our system, sitting in our office, going over on the board and watching film when he was 8, 9 years old, man. And that just continues. So he's a hard worker. it's also a testament to the offensive staff and Alonzo Coley, Sekou Wilson. Sekou works with him day in and day out. Alonzo Coley, throughout the course of the season, has taken time to sit down with this kid. So the offensive staff and Sekou, Cutler, and Coley, man, they've done a heck of a job with him. And so the kid was always ready. He was a third-string kid going into our season. So what was cool about his situation was he helped lead our JV team to a three-way tie in the district championship versus by beating Warwick at the end of the regular season, the last game of the season, which was we needed that win to win. So we ended up being a three-way tie with Warwick and Hampton. So that was cool. He led our team to a JV district championship, then comes in second round of the playoffs when Adonis got hurt. And, I mean, the kid, you can see the experience and the guts and the poise that this kid had acquired throughout the course of the season. And, it paid off for us. So we never worried about him. Our biggest concern was not putting too much on him. But as the weeks went on, we started to understand that this kid is not your average 15-year-old. He is an intelligent young man that studies the game and he understands it. And that proved to be true, especially that last play. I mean, he took that sack. If you go back and look at it on film, that first play from scrimmage when it's 58 seconds, that kid didn't get contact on him. He took the sack. He went down to give us another shot, versus exposing himself. And he was not rattled going back into that second play, So that's why we felt confident taking the shot. And, I just commend my coaches for, the way we handled that entire process during that moment.
There are a lot of things gets talked about during your season. Certainly, when you play rival games like Hampton, you play Oscar Smith out of the gate and you beat them 16-2 and you've won 35 straight games, which is incredible. A lot of people talked about the 104-point game with Jamestown, which was well documented and spoken about. But Coach, the thing that I'm going to remember about this team and really the legacy at Phoebus year after year is the defense. You hold your opponents this year to 58 total points, 3.9 per game. And there are some legendary Phoebus defenses. We know about that 2008 group that was coached by your former coach, the late great Bill D. This defense statistically is going to stack up with last year's defense, the 08 defense, and with those seniors that go out here, the Anthony Reddicks who's going to Maryland, Stevenson going to Old Dominion, and so many others. What can you say about them and what they accomplished? And really the game that I think above all else sticks out, not just this Salem game where Peyton Lewis had 373 yards rushing and 4 TDs the week before. He's going to Tennessee. He's an All-American. You hold him with 84 yards rushing and 27 attempts, but you held that King George high-flying attack to no offensive touchdowns. They checked every box, didn't they?
They did. It starts with buy-in. I run the defense and, so we're going to – the intensity that's going to come in and day out, they understand that the expectations are high defensively. And, we love challenging. The thing is, the higher the competition, the more we get excited about that moment. We want to prove to people that we can stack up against the best of the best offenses. And there are a lot of good ones in our area as well as across the state. So, we were excited about the King George opportunity because we knew they had 2 4-star receivers and those two kids are the real deal. They have been lighting people up all year. So going into it, of course, we were the underdog. People felt like we wouldn't be able to contain those guys. So, our guys got excited. They get excited about these type of matchups. So, we put our weekly goals in place and our challenges to them, and they checked every single box throughout the course of the playoffs in regards to what our goals were for each opponent when it came to total yards, first downs, receiving and rushing, and then total yards, of course, and then touchdowns. They checked every box, every single box, week in and week out. So they're going to go down as one of the best. And, we had a lot of big names to leave that defense last year, some special kids. And the way these kids tuned in this off season and bought into the process. And we did have some kids have to step up, and they did. They stepped up very well. So, I'm excited. We got a great core coming back next year that will be, the foundations in place to build upon. So, we'll be putting these same type of expectations over top of them come next year.
A few more minutes here with the now 3 times in a row state champion Phoebus Phantoms. Jeremy Blunt, his team winning at 21-14 at Liberty University in Lynchburg. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young from the PLEX. We're streaming on VirginiaPreps.com, Twitter at 757 Sports Talks, or X as well, 757 Sports Talk, Facebook and YouTube. Here, Coach, a couple more minutes and we'll let you run. I know you got the canned food drive too, but one of the things Ed wanted to know about was unsung heroes, because you have the headline names, the Reddicks, the Stevensons, the Keyontae Grays, the Paul Stephen Davises, the Davion Robertses, but but give me a couple of names. It can be more than a couple of names, be it linemen for you. I know that offensive line unit was a great group with Emery Diurso and Marcus Hobson and company. Maybe some unsung heroes that were pivotal to your success in this championship journey that you can share with the fans out there.
Well, let's talk offensive line first. You got to start up front, man. Those guys don't get enough credit. So you named Marcus Hobson, man, Emery Durso's, man. Let's go to our right tackle, Troy Solomon. He's a 2-year starter for us, man. Started as a freshman last year. We're expecting big things from him next year. He had a heck of a season. Let's go to our left tackle, David Applewhite. That guy, he's a grown man right now, on the high school level, and he's going to do some great things. He had a heck of a season. Our left guard, Jaden Hill, 2-year starter. He's one of those kids that was a floater. He started center for us as a sophomore. We moved him, a few weeks into that 22 campaign, and he handled that left guard extremely well. He had a heck of a season this year as well. And then rotators like Nathaniel Anthony, who anchored the defensive line this year with the absence of Michael McMullen. He and Marcus Hobson and Deshaun Richardson did a great job as a 3-headed monster handling that. So. The big guys, you got to start with that credit with those guys. They don't get enough of it, And then you start to look at some of our skill guys. Our skill guys, fullbacks. We got 2 fullbacks, and Jakar Freeman and Christian Wilson. And those guys just love playing for each other. They don't mind who's getting. Doesn't matter to them how many touches they get. They just want to go out there and block for Davion. So that's a special thing. Christian Wilson will be back, so that's exciting when you think about that. Now defensively, offensively too. Owen Jefferson stepped up for us. Big time. He had 6 catches in the championship game, and he's the one to replace Jordan Bass at the safety position, and then Trenton Mitchell, who also started 3 games last year, started safety the entire season, and, he also played some receiver for us. Those guys did a heck of a job. And then Isaac Lipkins, he's another kid that is that rotator at defensive back that can play anything, man. Najee Gay and Dior Hatchett. Those 2 guys playing that outside linebacker position, man, they didn't get enough credit. And they did a heck of a job replacing Rogers from last year, man, who had an all-state season for us, when he stepped away. So, we got Ricardo Underwood. He's special, 2-year starter for us. We're going to miss him along with Gray. So we got some guys, man, that Brendan Thompson, Caleb Tillery, those 2, they're the best duo in the state of Virginia to me. Inside linebacker. And we faced 2 kids in Salem's guys, that they're special. One's going to JMU, one's a Georgia commit, and I'll take my guys all day over them. I'm excited about having those 2 anchor our defense next year. So we got some special guys coming back, man, and some special guys leaving that, just a testament to what we do here. And I think every coach around the country feels the same way. Pour into your guys and the guys buy in, it's exciting to watch it all translate on the field.
And last 2 here for you, Coach, you kind of addressed how the new kids, especially the freshmen and sophomores, have come into your program, what it means to play at Phoebus and how they'll get minutes. Just tell me about this tradition. And then, I know you get asked now, as a lot of these coaches that win multiple championships, whether it's Doree McKay now at Maury, Daryl Overton at Freedom, Riverheads had won 7 straight. Obviously, you have Highland Springs and Stonebridge that won multiple titles. You guys at Phoebus now, you really are the standard, the gold standard. It was Hampton in the 90s, the arch rival, as you know. You guys have 10 in the last 22 years, but I feel like you can compare different teams, but it's almost inarguable. I don't know you can have a better ending to a state championship game than the one you just had with an 80-plus yard TD pass from a freshman to a senior after they came back to tie you up, 2-point conversion. They've got momentum, and you win it that type of way. So just tell me what it does for the camaraderie, the school, the community, the fans to have this type of fitting ending, I think, to your season.
We do a lot of situational phases inside of practice, and we prepare for situations, throughout the course of the week, getting these guys ready just in case any one of these situations may ever occur. So when I look at what ended up happening at the end of the game, man, it's funny because we've never put them 58 seconds with 1 timeout on the -20, but we have put them in situations on the -26, and we were trying to dig it up the other day. So the most dramatic situation we've ever put these guys in practice was the -20 and the -26, with 1 minute and 1 second with no timeouts. And the second play from scrimmage would be a sack, which would put us to a 2nd and 15 with that time, and they're having to work the clock. So when we took that sack, it was kind of cool because we always reference these things throughout the course of the week when we go over it with the guys on how they handled that 2-minute drill. So when that sack actually happened, for us, we were like, well, we've never been here before in a game, let alone, on a championship level, but we've been here before in practice. And so I could see the confidence in the guys. So to see it all transpire, it was really magical, man. None of those guys wavered. And that's the thing that was so special about it. Like, it was genuine. It was truly a storybook ending to what was a great season. Because not many people gave us a chance after losing the amount of seniors we lost last year, especially when we started off so offensively, trying to figure out the rhythm on offense and who was going to be the play caller and things like that. People didn't really give us a chance. But, coaching staff, the team, the defense, gave that offense a chance to continue to get better and better. So, I'll tell you, man, it's kind of hard. You asked me how many times have I looked at that clip. I'm telling you, anytime that thing crosses my feed or, something, I'm going to watch it. Because just to know what went into it and the preparation and the commitment and the amount of sacrifices that were made, I wouldn't have wanted that game to be a blowout. I'm happy it ended the way it did because that means so much more when you look at it in retrospect. So it's an exciting cap to the season.
Absolutely. And even though there's heartbreak for those Salem kids and players and coaches put in so much work, it's such joy and happiness for your kids, especially the senior and gray, to go out that way. The freshman who comes of age in that moment and all their teammates that have put that blood, sweat, and tears going back to August, and your coaching staff that have grinded for so many hours, thankless hours, with not enough pay, as you all know, because you guys don't do it for the money. That's for sure. And lastly, we'll get you on this. I'm sure we'll follow up with you during the offseason and get you on screen here. We thank you so much for troubleshooting through all the technical issues today. Tell us about the canned food drive you got at Phoebus High School and how people can get involved with helping out for the kids, whether they want to donate for rings or jackets, and with all you've done at Phoebus High School and these kids. Tell them how they can get involved in what you're doing today.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, here again, it's just a testament to this program and the family members involved in the program. My wife wanted to do something to give back, and, so she wanted to count the amount of points that we had at the end of the season, which was 631 total. And we wanted to donate to the food bank. And we wanted to get 631 canned goods or non-perishable items in order to give back and donate. The families here are teen mothers and the kids and, even the fathers, everybody just wanted to chip in, So we started at 9 today. By 9:45, we already had over 650 items.
Wow.
That's what makes this community special. I don't know what we're going to do with all this stuff right now because it's loading up. I'm pretty sure by the time I get back over there, we're going to be well over 1,000 just at that rate. So, it's exciting to see people in the community give back. It's exciting to see these kids come out and take time out of their schedule to be a part of this process because it's something that they're going to keep with them for the rest of their lives. That's what this thing's about, man. Sports are great, but it's a tool that we use, to get these kids prepared for manhood, and womanhood, So I'm happy that they're buying into this because we want them to be productive citizens in society when it's all said and done. So it's been a great morning.
Well, it's so cool to see you, the evolution of you from a state champion player to a young coach, and now you've developed into one of the finest coaches in the entire state, 3-time state champs in a row here. Jeremy Blunt of the Phoebus Phantoms, thank you so much for all you do, both on the field, off the field. I'm sure we'll connect here during the off-season some more, and happy holidays to you and your family.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. It's good to talk to you guys this morning. Appreciate you having me.
Got it. That's Coach Jeremy Blunt of the Phoebus Phantoms, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. They win it in thrilling fashion over Salem 21-14. As we'll sign off here in just a moment, it is 757 Saturday Sports Talk with the coach now back on the screen now as we will get ourselves situated before we sign off here. I tell you what, Ed, as we bring you back in here and we take the banner off there, we apologize if you missed some of that first question. We were doing the best we could in terms of technical. Do you have me, Ed? Okay. You got me okay, audio-wise?
I got you. I hear it. Yep.
For some reason, I'm not getting you in my headset. I'm not sure why that is, but bear with me in a moment here as we'll hopefully get your reaction back here. For some reason, I'm not getting any audio from you as we'll try to get you on the screen here to get some audio back with me. Can you hear me at all, Ed?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I can hear you.
I don't know why I'm not getting any audio from you. Hang tight here. We will we'll see what we can do here to get. Okay, you're coming through, but for some reason I'm not hearing you at all here on our stream.
It's the gremlins.
For some reason, we'll see if I can just unplug some things here and see what we have situated here. But real quick, as we'll finish up the show here, your reaction to what you heard Coach Blunt had to say there, and tell us what you thought about the championship. And I tell you what, impressive stuff they're doing on and off the field at Phoebus to win it the way they did, the defense against those worthy opponents like Salem with studs going to Tennessee and Georgia, and King George with stars going to Maryland and Virginia Tech. And they answered every challenge that came their way and did so when injuries occurred. Quarterback goes down, they don't miss a beat, and then it's the young kids stepping up in a major spot. How about that?
Yeah, first of all, working backwards, the food drive is tremendous. Well over 1,000 items he believes they'll have by the end of the day for them and what they're doing in the community. That's tremendous. Get out and help the community is really important. And in turn, it comes back and helps you out too. As far as them winning, I think in July I said Phoebus. I didn't even know the rest of the state. I just believe in what Jeremy has done and what that program. I think you said 10 titles in 22 years. It's unheard of. Like I said, if you're lucky enough to win one, it stays with you forever, and you kind of always go back to that. But when you're winning multiple championships, you almost wonder for them, does it get old? I don't think it does. Each championship is worth value in itself, because the whole season, off season, all the way up to get in that game and win it is so important. And it means so much that you can't just look at it as, oh, yeah, we won another title and big deal. I don't think necessarily it's that way. But he's just done a good job of the program. And I was interested to hear, like, when people come into his program, be it a transfer, because that's what things are nowadays, or it's the young kids, the freshmen, sophomores coming up through the system, maybe play JV. What's it mean to play here at Phoebus? What do you got to do to get your minutes? And it's a standard. It's a championship standard. And some people think it's easy. Any team can do it. I don't think that's true. It's a lot of your mental makeup, physical makeup, especially in football, that not every team goes into a season with a legit chance of winning a state title, maybe even get into the state playoffs. It takes a lot to do that. Yes, you have to be talented, very talented, but it does take a little bit more than that, because I've seen very talented teams in all sports not win state titles. I've seen teams win a state title that I would say, I don't think that's their best team. Or there were teams they beat along the way or didn't get a chance to play that I thought were better. So it just takes a lot, and Phoebus has found the formula to make it almost traditional.
They really have. Well, Ed, tell you what, a heck of a year for the Phoebus Phantoms. This was fun today, and we powered through some technical issues, had a lot of great guests from Erik Johnson and Dave Macedo and Jeremy Blunt from Phoebus, as they are state champs along with Maury and Freedom-Woodbridge, Liberty Christian, Radford and Galax. Final thoughts as we go into the sports weekend, and I'm getting ready to get on a bus to head to Richmond, the 804, and Ed might be going south, but he can't tell you where he's going south. Not for the winter. He's just got
sometimes I'm going south every day. Congrats to the state champions. To the runners-up, got nothing to be ashamed of. You just about tasted it, but you know what it takes to get there. And people like Stonebridge, Highland Springs. It's funny. We're not going to talk about Highland Springs. They lost state championship, but how many state titles they have already? So come on now. Even the teams that get to the state tournament, hats off to you, because that's what you work for. High school level, it's not that easy. College, you really solidly recruit. Pros, you can pay for, trade, cut, move kids around. High school, for the most part, there is transferring. You take what comes in the door, you got to mold it, you got to do something with it. So hats off all to them. Now we're getting ready for the winter sports. Of course, my sport being basketball. Teams are 5-6 games deep into a 22, 23 game season. So that'll start heating up. And to all the other sports out there too, wrestling going on, indoor track, swimming, your winter sports that are going on. Let's try to talk about some of those teams, and we got to do maybe even a better job on our show here to include some of those other sports. But like we said, when we used to be on the radio, if those people want to talk about wrestling, swimming, whatever, call us, email us. In this situation, we don't have the call capabilities yet. Ask the questions. We'll try to get the answers on it. We'll try to make sure we get some guests that are well pronounced in those sports and give them a little bit of just due. So we want to have fun with this. And, we got glitches, man. I know you want to blow up when we get to glitches. You're a perfectionist, but hey, things happen when we're doing this. We're not ready in studio right now. Some revamping going on. So things like this will happen. Let's keep having fun with it. I appreciate everybody that's tuning in, listening, giving your input and opinions and that. We like that. And we'll keep having fun with this show.
No blow-ups. This isn't Mike Hatfield. This is Matthew Hatfield. But I
can imagine. I've been around you when you were throwing things around.
I don't do that.
You can't top Pops. Pops is the best. I mean, he's the best.
He's the best.
At blow-ups.
Leave the peanuts away. And he's undefeated, I think, against you in the last 2 years in Fact or Fiction.
Well, you let him know I want DJ Hat in the future. He can name the date, the time, because he's the champ right now. But I want a piece of him in this, and I got something for him.
All right, that's going to do it. We thank all the listeners, commenters, tweeters, fans out there. It'll be archived for those that missed anything or go back and watch some parts of the show. Ed, enjoy your weekend, and we'll do it again next week, a couple days before Christmas.
That's right. Next week is a week from Monday is Christmas. Oh,
yeah.
Here it is already. So
no shopping for you because you don't celebrate it.
No, I mean,
jerk face.
I can't. It'll be a great Christmas for everybody, though. You got to make it. It's a great time of the year. We got to make it good.
He's the coach, Ed Young. I'm Matt Hatfield. We'll talk to you next week here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Again, like, share, and subscribe to our Virginia Beach Sportsplex YouTube channel. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. We'll talk to you next week.